Good evening and welcome to this Week 4 presentation of high school football on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. And tonight we've got a top 10 matchup in Class A on this Thursday night between the 4th-ranked Lincoln Southeast Knights and the 9th-ranked Creighton Prep Junior Jays. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman here to bring it with you. And boy, Brendan Prep has had to run a gauntlet so far to start the season. There have been a couple really fun games, and this one should be no different.
It's beach day for the Birdcage today. A lot of lays, a lot of hats, a lot of sunglasses. And even though Lincoln Southeast is the number 4 team in the state, this kind of feels like a vacation for the Junior Jays considering the schedule they've ran through. So far this year they've played Westside. They played them here. We had that game. Didn't go so well for the offense, only put up 8 total points, missed a couple of kicks, 2 interceptions from quarterback Jack Piernicki. Since then, though, they settled down, beat Papillion La Vista 30-3. Also here, we did not have that game because there were rain concerns that ended up not happening, but that's okay. And then we also helped call the 3rd game at Bellevue West, thanks to the Thunderbeat for letting us do that once again. And that game was a lot closer than a lot of people expected, 28-22. The offense definitely settled in a little bit. Jack Piernicki in the Bell West game, 20 of 38 for 205 yards and 2 scores. But Bell West had 4 plays in the first quarter above 30 yards. I mean, you got a team that explosive. You just can't hope to win unless you play perfectly, and Prep didn't quite play perfectly.
So as we get set for Week 4, we take a look at the Omaha World Herald Top 10 after 3 weeks of action. And you see number 1 and number 2, Bellevue West and Millard South, well, they're playing each other tonight down at Feynman Field, so we'll keep you posted on that one. But Omaha Westside has fallen back to number 3 with Millard South taking their place, as we'll have the national anthem and be right back after this. All right, welcome back to Burke Stadium. Picking up where we left off with that top 10, Bellevue West, Millard South, as I said, playing each other tonight. Lincoln Southeast is number 4. And then Creighton Prep has re-entered the top 10 after that close game you mentioned against Bellevue West last week. They're number 9. And it's going to be a tough matchup. Prep has played 1 and 3 so far in those rankings. They play 4 tonight. So let's take a look at that Bellevue West game from last Friday night. And you know, many expected it to be a Bellevue West blowout. They're the top team in the state for a reason, but the Junior Jays fell behind early. It was 21-6 after the first quarter, and Prep just started battling back, Brendan.
Oh, they certainly did. I mean, the real key there was they settled down. Bell West was really putting their foot on the accelerator throughout that first quarter. Whole bunch of long plays from their quarterbacks, from their running backs, from their receivers. Micah Riley Ducker made an incredible one-handed catch at about the 30-yard line that resulted almost immediately in a touchdown for L.J. Richardson. So they just were running all over the field in that first quarter. But after that, they settled down pretty well. Michael Barrett, John Pargo, they've been the leaders of the defense all year. They definitely settled in. Jack Piernicki played very well. Charmar Brown played pretty well. And Prep was able to bring it all the way back in and forced Bell West to sweat a little bit. Had to recover a late squib kick just to seal the victory. But that definitely shows you how much this Prep team has improved since the first game of the season.
Take a look at the Junior Jays entering the field in blue on white for the first time this season. We'll take a look at Lincoln Southeast game from last week as well. And as the story has been for the entirety of this first third of the season for the Knights, defense. 17-7 was the final score in their victory over Grand Island last Friday. Max Butenbeck had his 3rd straight game with 140-plus rushing yards. And Will Barrett added 8 catches for 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. A little bit of everything from Lincoln Southeast, but defense has been the constant.
It certainly has. Even in their opening game against Omaha North, they were down 19-7 at halftime, outscored Omaha North 22-0 in that second half to come back for the win. And you mentioned Butenbach. He's the key to this offense. So far this year, 81 carries, 491 yards, 4 touchdowns. As you mentioned, hasn't slipped below 140 yards a game yet. But in every game so far, Butenbach, the team has had more rushes than the senior quarterback for Lincoln Southeast, Willem Reddick, has completions this year. And that trend could continue tonight because Prep is getting a very important defensive player back, Jonah Moore, the senior corner. He is expected to start and might even play a little offense for the Junior Jays as well, but he missed the first couple of games with an arm injury. He is back tonight, and Prep is going to need him against the high-powered rushing attack of the Lincoln Southeast Knights.
So even though there's a little bit of distance between these two teams in the top 10 rankings, they are very similar in how they play their football. Run game, new quarterbacks, fresh faces at the quarterback position, and then defense as well going to be key tonight. Brendan, what's the biggest difference between these two teams that can maybe widen the margin a little bit tonight?
Well, I'd say the difference will probably be the defensive line for Creighton Prep. It seems slightly better than it is for Lincoln Southeast. Admittedly, they've got a very good junior defensive end in Tatum Tuioti. He's got 27 tackles. 4 of those are sacks. But Prep has lots of sacks. They also have a -3 turnover margin and losses. That's been key for them, too. Lincoln Southeast has also struggled with turnovers a bit. They've forced multiple turnovers in every game. They've also committed multiple turnovers in every game, sitting at 6 on the year. So I think the key is going to be that whichever team gets more sacks and more turnovers is going to win this game.
So as we get ready for kickoff here, we're proud to announce that we have Mike Sells Omaha as our varsity sponsor. Navigate today's real estate market with a name you can trust. Mike Beacom with Nebraska Realty. Mike has over 20 years of experience in residential real estate, is a Prep alum, and a proud supporter of Prep Athletics. Visit MikeSellsOmaha.com today. So about a minute, 40 seconds, under a minute left until kickoff here between Prep and Lincoln Southeast. These two teams played last year in Week 4 on the road in Lincoln, and it was a close game. Prep almost made a fourth quarter comeback, but fell to the Knights 24-21. So should be another close one here tonight. Brendan, any final notes here before kickoff?
Well, I think the key for Lincoln Southeast will be this first drive, how successful it is. If they start out ground and pound and they're forced to punt after only a first down or two, I think that they're going to have to look at changing up their offense. But if they're able to drive down to about the Prep 40 or 30, maybe even get a field goal out of this first drive, then I think they're going to say, you know what, we can run on these guys and just keep doing it all night. And then for Prep, the key is going to be how good is Jonah Moore in his first game back? Because another key defender for these guys, Asher Anderson, who already has an interception this year, he's now out with an arm injury that he suffered pretty recently. So if Jonah Moore can replace him and do as good or better, then Prep shouldn't miss a beat on defense. But if he can't in his first game back, then Prep might have to start looking to their backups for a spark.
Luke Fenton lets the pigskin fly, and we are underway in this top 10 matchup. It's going to be a returnable kick from about the 2-yard line. Crossing the 10 toward the right side up the middle, making a cut, is Owen Baxter, and he is just shy of the 20-yard line. And that is where Lincoln Southeast offense will take the field, led by quarterback Willem Reddick. And on the season, he's 25 for 57, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And last week, definitely his best game of the season, throwing for 131 yards and a touchdown.
And 100 of those, as you mentioned in the pregame, to Will Barrett. Barrett on the season, 12 catches, 151 yards, 2 scores. Jake Applegate, his senior counterpart at receiver, has been even better. 7 catches for 96 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Reddick's got a pair of senior receivers, but he also really likes to hand the ball off to Max Butenbach, and he'll likely start the game off with one here.
1st and 10 from the 19, opening play of the game. They're going to run a little trickery. A sweep to Will Barrett, being chased by Ryan Carney, and Barrett will take it for a yard to the 20-yard line. So Creighton Prep's defense not fooled too badly there. And Brendan, start of this game is going to be huge for both teams. Lincoln Southeast has trailed or been tied at the end of every single first quarter they've played so far. So Prep might have to try to jump them early.
Yeah, they're definitely slow starters but very fast finishers. So the key for Prep, much like the key was for Bell West last week, is building a big enough lead that it doesn't matter how badly you play in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 9 from the 20. Lincoln Southeast goes with the I formation. And it'll be Butenbach for the first time. And he's contained pretty well by that Junior J defense. Vic Tabor was able to stop, along with Jack Kirkwood. It's a gain consistently long for the Knights.
And there's that front seven of Prep making their presence felt again. Even in the West Side game, it was not at all their fault that Prep lost. Only gave up 81 rushing yards to Dominic Rizak of West Side. So they are a very good rush defense. And with Lincoln Southeast still in the iPhone, they're going to be coming for the backfield.
Rutenbeck ran for 129 yards last year against Prep as this third down pass is knocked down incomplete. Big Sam Sledge got his paws in the air and put the ball to the ground. It's going to be fourth down. Junior Jay's defense continues to be strong, forcing the 3-and-out right off the bat.
When you mentioned in the pregame, these teams are very similar. Defensive, run game, new quarterbacks. That also means that they have pretty similar flaws, and we saw that there with Lincoln Southeast. You get into the third and medium, third and long, where you have to pass the ball. They're not all that great at passing the ball consistently, and you can see that there. Obviously, a lot of talent, though, by Sam Sledge to get up and block that. Oh, boy.
There's a shanked punt. The snap was high, and it's going to bounce inside the 25, and the Junior Jays, on a punt that travels -1 yard, they're going to have starting field position at the Lincoln Southeast 22. So not sure if that just came off the foot of Nate McCashlin wrong or if it was blocked.
It did. No, that definitely came off the foot wrong, but pretty auspicious start for Prep. Remember, the last time this team played here, they forced a 3-and-out.
Hopefully we don't reverse roles now.
Punt, except this one was blocked by John Corbo and returned for a touchdown. So,
Southeast.
another 3-and-out, another bad punt, and here comes Prep, already almost at the red zone.
High formation to start it. Jack Birmingham center.
Of course.
358 passing yards, 3 touchdowns on the year, and he's going to start with a fullback dive. George Egan does a nice job to stumble forward toward the 15. Pickup of 7.
Over the right side.
And Egan's been kind of a revelation for the Prep offense.
Owen Baxter
We know they like the power
in on the
run, but
tackle
when they found
for
a
the
fullback
Knights.
like this guy who can carry the ball consistently as well
Gain
as
of
block,
7.
it makes it so much
Brings up
easier for this
second and
offense.
3.
So far in the year, he's at 16 carries, 47 yards, and a score. Look for him to bump those numbers up a little more tonight. And he's still in the backfield. They really like that I formation look, especially over the past couple of games, and it's led to a lot of scoring.
Jack Stessman is the running back. He's going to get a toss, and then they're going to give it to Pierce Johnson on an end around.
Uh-oh.
He can fly. Johnson inside the 10. He has a block.
Ooh.
He leaps to the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, there we go.
Pierce Johnson on some trickery from the Junior Jays. A 15-yard touchdown run, and Junior is in 6-0 Prep.
Well, both of these teams like giving the ball to their stars. We saw that with Lincoln Southeast trying the reverse to Will Barrett on their first play. With Prep, though, it worked just a little bit better. And did you see Jack Piernicki running down the field to block
How about
there?
that?
I mean, if there's anything that shows you how much this team has grown since that Week 1 loss, it is this. This team really enjoys playing with each other. They really love that run game, and they love it because it works super well. It's 6-0 pretty early.
Ford Hamilton, 4 for 6 on extra
Oh, that
points
was
this
blocked.
season. No launch angle whatsoever on that one as it goes below the crossbar, no good. So 6-0 Prep is the score. Ford Hamilton missed the extra point on Prep's opening touchdown last week at Bell West, and same story here.
I think that one might have been blocked. It looked like it was a Will Barrett, number 1, coming around the edge, but that definitely looked like it at least got tipped.
Yeah.
That definitely was not the way that kick was supposed to go.
So Prep up 6-0 on the 15-yard touchdown run by Pierce Johnson. That was his first touchdown of the season. He's normally a receiver, but that time gets it done on the ground on the trick play. And, boy, Lincoln Southeast, they're a team that likes to control the game, control the tempo with their run and their defense, but they've got things stacked up pretty well against them early on. What do you think they need to do to get things settled down?
Well, I think they just need to make sure that they themselves are settled down, because a 6-0 lead, especially when you've got an offense that can run the ball as consistently as they can, that's not really a big issue. And Prep obviously starting in prime field position, looking a little like the start of the West Side game where the offense kept giving the ball away in plus territory and West Side kept capitalizing. There's no need to change up the game plan yet. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm not sure that starting off with the trickeration to Will Barrett was such a good idea, because that's really not their game plan. I think that was Barrett's first carry all year. Go with what's worked. You're 3-0 for a reason. Just keep doing that.
So Prep, who has been outscored 38-13 total in the first quarter this season, up 6-0. A welcome sign for them as Luke Fenton puts it in the air, and that's going to go well through the end zone off the crossbar. So Luke Fenton with a little bit of a breeze at his back drills it, and Lincoln Southeast will start at their own 20, 1st and 10.
Yeah, there's the 5-star foot. And the key here for the Prep defense, you already mentioned that the Lincoln Southeast offense what I thought the key would be, and I thought that's just keep going with what works. Their bread and butter has been Max Butenbach on the ground, Max Butenbach on the ground. So keep running with that. And then for the Prep defense, keep doing what they're doing because they've proven to be pretty good run stoppers as long as they can make tackles on the edge. Teams don't normally break big running plays against them.
I formation to begin the second drive for Lincoln Southeast. And it is going to be Butenbach. He's got blue jerseys all around him, and Sam Sledge got him from behind. Michael Barrett got him up front. Gain of only a yard as Creighton Prep's defense off to a hot start. They'll actually give him no gain on the play.
Michael Barrett, the leading tackler for this team. He's been all over the field this year. The senior wasn't really expected to be a huge part of that Prep defense. We were more looking at guys like Jack Kirkwood and maybe Jonah Moore before his injury. But Barrett's got now 18 and a half tackles this year, if you include that one. He has a nose for the ball, and he's been tackling a lot of ball carriers this year.
So here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. They bring the fullback out of the game this time and go straight under center. It's going to be a pass to the outside. It's tipped. And was it caught? Wow, it was at the 24-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 4 on the play, bringing up 3rd and 6. Looks like Will Barrett was on the receiving end.
No, I think that was number 86, actually.
Okay.
Luke Blatchford, the
senior
tight end.
I think it was intended for Barrett, got tipped to Blatchford. So 3rd and 6 coming up.
And that's a dangerous, dangerous sign for Lincoln Southeast because their passing attack's been inconsistent all year, but none of these passes so far have been not tipped. And I know it's a small sample size, but if you can't get the ball 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, you're not going anywhere against this Prep team.
Empty backfield.
Here
Prep
comes the
bringing
blitz.
some pressure. Here they come. Sidestepping it is Reddick, but he can't get away from Sledge, and it's going to be 4th down, back-to-back 3-and-outs, forced by the Junior Jays defense to start the game.
Great play design there from the defensive coordinator, Prep, Jack Kirkwood. He's going to Harvard to play football next year. You could see him starting to come up to the line. Lincoln Southeast was unprepared for it, and Willem Reddick could avoid him, but he couldn't avoid the rest of that crushing Prep defensive line. Great play, great sack, and now Prep's offense is going to get the ball back.
The last punt was shanked, as this is going to be a flag. It was another pretty poor punt, straight up in the air. We'll see what the marker is for. Likely a false start. And indeed, that is the call. So the Knights continue to move in the wrong direction. Definitely not the start we expected from them.
No, certainly not. And it's really, really not good when your special teams is moving the ball backwards for you. That's not what you want out of them. And really, it's a big problem that Butenbach hasn't really gotten going because even though they're not really early starters, he's been a good one.
Slightly better punt this time. Pierce Johnson is going to let it bounce, and it goes backwards and off to the side again. So Creighton Prep, after starting their last drive on the Knights 22, will start this one just 16 yards further back at the 38. So chance to really jump on the number 4 team in the state with this drive.
Well, 2 of the keys I had for this game, one of them for Lincoln Southeast was have their defensive backs play aggressively. Prep can be turnover prone if they get behind the sticks. So Lincoln Southeast defensive backs will have to jump on any chance they get. One thing I had for Prep was feed the backfield. Here's the thing. It's really easy to feed the backfield when you're starting less than 40 yards from the opposing end zone each time. You might not even have to throw the ball on any of your drives. So that is an even bigger problem for Lincoln Southeast.
Pernicky brings Stessman over to his left. He's going to try to throw. Good block on the left side, and the pass is complete to Trey Olden, who takes a pretty good lick inside the 35, but hangs on for a gain of 4. Trey Olden had his best game of the season last week, catching 5 passes for 55 yards and a touchdown at Bell West.
And he's been Pernicky's second favorite receiver. He and Thomas Lydon, a pair of seniors, they've been with Pernicky rising up through the football program since they were all freshmen. And Lydon's got 12 catches for 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. Olden's got 7 for 83 and a touchdown. Both of those guys should have their numbers boost up a little bit tonight.
They gave Olden 3.5 yards on the catch, so second and about 6. Going to be Shamar Brown for the first time. And he's able to ride his way down near the 30, gain of about 4 on the play for Brown, who comes in with 60 carries, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns. Creighton Prep do a nice job getting good yardage on first and second down, setting up very manageable 3rd down and 2.
And 3rd and 2, that's really this offense's bread and butter because Pernicky is very adept at the short passing. That's the best part of his game. And then, of course, you've got this powerful offensive line and the great running back, Marty Brown, who's gone over 50 yards in every game. So this is really a pick-your-poison situation for Lincoln Southeast, but either way, it's highly likely Prep's going to get to the 6.
Watch that single coverage at the bottom of the screen on Johnson. Prep is going to run it, though, and they're going to move the chains with Shamar Brown, picking up 5 more yards to the 25, and Creighton Prep seems to be in pretty solid control early on.
They certainly do. That running offense is working very well. It feels like the offensive line is getting 3 or 4 yards downfield before they're met with resistance on almost every play. You could see the holes open up for Marty Brown there just incredibly easily. He wasn't touched until well after he got to the sticks, and the offense is just continuing to move the ball down the field. Lincoln Southeast might have to change something up pretty soon.
I formation. Brown still the running back. He's going to get a toss and cut it inside. Some nice moves by Shamar Brown to get past the line of scrimmage and dive down to the 21. Gain of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6, and Brown off to a nice start. 3 carries, 14 yards.
Well, he's gone over 50 yards in every game so far this year, and as you said, off to the nice start. He was off to a nice one against Bell West, too. The only bad thing about that game was a fumble he had in the first quarter where he was going down and then got it stripped from him by one of Bell West's safeties. But other than that, he's had a basically perfect year. He seems to get the yardage Prep needs him to on every single carry.
So 2nd and 6. Prep a yard outside the red zone. They fake the toss this time, and George Egan has space, sidesteps the official, and gets down inside the 10, setting up 1st and goal for the Junior Jays. A 15-yard run for the fullback.
And George Egan, you know, you run fullback dive a lot on Madden, but you don't normally expect it to break for that many yards. But Prep's offense is just, it's so multifaceted when it comes to the run game. They've got 3, as we saw with Pierce Johnson, 4 guys that they could really get away with handing the ball to on any given play, and Lincoln Southeast really can't guard all of them.
All 3 of Shamar Brown's touchdown runs to start the season have come from inside the 15. He's got the ball here, cutting up the middle, and he's going to get in for another Creighton Prep touchdown. A 6-yard run for number 6, Shamar Brown, with touchdown number 4 on the year.
Well, you basically called it there, didn't you?
Yeah.
And once again, the offensive line just plenty of space for Shamar Brown. I think you could have gotten through that hole there to score.
No kidding. That middle part of the Junior Jays offensive line, center, left guard, right guard, off to a fantastic start against the Lincoln Southeast defensive line. We'll see how long it continues.
Yeah, but certainly no problems yet. And as we've seen, they haven't really had to resort to the passing offense yet. They're a run-first team, but right now they're basically a run-only team.
That extra point from Ford Hamilton splits the sticks. And the Junior Jays have a 13-0 lead over the 4th-ranked team in the state. So the Knights find themselves in an even deeper hole, and they just can't let things spiral out of control. It's been probably a much quicker type of start than they've expected. They haven't been able to control things. As we'll watch the replay of this touchdown here, Brendan, what did you see?
Well, I already kind of mentioned it. You know, the offensive line just clearing a big hole, but what thing I'm noticing on the replay here is just the vision of Marty Brown. He sees the hole and he goes through it almost immediately. There's no hesitation, goes into an extra gear, and he's got enough to score easily. This could be a very long night for that Lincoln Southeast defense unless they figure something out soon. And it could be even longer for the Lincoln Southeast offense. Just 4 total yards on both of their opening drives. They've been forced to punt both times, and both times the ball has ended up inside their own 40 for Prep to start off with. So they might have to start going to the air quickly and often.
So the first instant replay in CP Sports Network history goes to Shamar Brown. Might have to get him an award for that as Luke Fenton puts it in the air. And it's going to go through the end zone again, another touchback. So Lincoln Southeast, who has gone back-to-back 3-and-outs to start the game, they've only picked up 7 total yards of offense so far. Brendan, what do you think they need to change?
Is everything too vague of an answer? But I mean, to be perfectly honest, nothing's really been there for Max Budenbeck. I know he's a great running back, but even a great running back can't do too much when 2 defenders are on him before they've gotten past the line of scrimmage. So I think that Lincoln Southeast should maybe go to the play action a little bit, try and open up the field. The passing attack hasn't really been there at all, but you got to try something at this point.
So 1st and 10 from the 20. They're going to go out of the gun for the first time with Jake Applegate taking the snap. He hands off to Will Barrett, and again the Creighton Prep defense is stout. They try to go to the perimeter and get nothing out of it. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20. And Lincoln Southeast, that's something they've done to start the season. Getting some different looks, trying to fool the defense. We saw Jake Applegate, the number 1 inside receiver slash tight end taking the snap there.
Well, and he handed off to another receiver, Will Barrett. That's 2 carries already for Barrett. But when even your wildcat looks aren't working against a defense, you know you might be in trouble.
This time it'll be Reddick back at quarterback, and he'll give to Butenbeck, and he is going to be stuffed again after a gain of only 2. Michael Barrett and Kyle Munt were in on the stop, and it's going to bring up 3rd and long again.
It's incredible how fast the linebackers of Prep are. You mentioned a couple plays ago, Lincoln Southeast tried to go outside and it didn't work. That's because the linebackers are able to get to the ball incredibly quickly. The one problem they had against Bell West wasn't getting to the ball, it was stopping the ball. There were a couple of missed tackles on the edge that led to those big plays. But so far tonight, no missed tackles, and the result is a lot of 3rd and longs for Lincoln Southeast.
3 receivers to the near side on 3rd and 7. They'll go play action. Reddick looking downfield, steps up in the pocket, gets away from Keeney, dumps it off short to Applegate, who tries to cut through the middle. He is brought down just across the 25 by Owen Shatkowski, and that is going to make it 4th down. So Creighton Prep with another 3 and out defensively. Punting team coming on for the Knights.
Well, that was another great defensive drive. It looked like that Reddick had broken contain for the 2nd time tonight. Prep might have to watch out for that because if he starts to run the ball upfield, that could be dangerous for them. But the defense kept contained. They kept going for the ball. And when a defensive lineman ends up making the tackle on a shovel pass outside the hash marks, you know that your defense is doing something right.
Low punt this time, and finally it will get a bounce in favor of the Knights, rolling inside the 40, and it comes to rest at the 37.
I think they're going to give it to him.
Touched.
Yeah, at the 43.
Yep. Thought it might have grazed off of that special teams gunner, and indeed it did at about the 44-yard line. So, again, Prep with strong starting field position. They scored on their opening drive starting from the Knights' 22, scored on their second starting from the Knights' 38, and here they'll start at their own 44.
They certainly will, and scored on every drive. I mean, it's probably pretty easy to score when you've got great field position like that, but based on how they're playing right now, it looks like they can score from basically anywhere. They're just moving the ball downfield with very, very little resistance from the Knights.
They'll split the backfield, double shotgun formation with Egan to the left, Shamar Brown to the right. Pernicke trying to go for the hard count. He's gotten a lot of offsides penalties off of that hard count to start the season, but no jump this time. They'll throw a bubble screen to the outside for Thomas Lydon, who gets through across midfield. Lydon inside the 30, inside the 20, before he's shoved out of bounds in the red zone. A huge play on the bubble screen for Creighton Prep.
Well, that's why Thomas Lydon is Pernicke's favorite receiver. He can take a bubble screen and just take it immediately down the field.
So it'll be 1st and off to a nice start as Shamar Brown takes the carry for about half a yard, and finishing up that note on Lydon, those 122 receiving yards against Bell West, the most by a Prep receiver since September 19th, 2019.
Who was that, Bullock?
Armstead, Mason Armstead.
Mason Armstead,
yep,
oh wow, yeah.
He's at Princeton now.
He certainly is. I mean, he was a great receiver, but you mentioned Pernicke's hard count earlier and how he got so many defenses to fall for it already, and that just shows you how intelligent he is. He's been with this program for a while. He knows all the ins and outs. And he is just a perfect quarterback for this system. He does whatever the coaches need him to do.
Pernicke looking for a lob.
Uh-oh.
He's going to throw it up for Lydon, and it's incomplete, just out of his reach. He had a step. If it had been thrown right to that back pylon, probably could have made the catch, but just a little bit out of reach. 3rd and 10 coming up for Creighton Prep.
Yeah, that single coverage on Lydon again. You mentioned that last drive that we should probably watch that a little bit, but the thing right now is that the Knights can't afford to put double coverage on Thomas Lydon because then the middle's wide open for guys like Shamar Brown and George Egan. I mean, I said pick your poison earlier, and I do think that's an appropriate term because really they haven't been able to stop either so far.
3rd and 10 from the 15-yard line. Prep going with the I formation. 1:57 left in the first quarter. As it's going to be George Egan. Is he going to get the first down? He is! He breaks a tackle and gets in! Another Creighton Prep touchdown. They're up by 19 in the first quarter.
And they're all on the ground, too. It is incredible how dominant this team is when they go full ground and pound. 2nd touchdown of the year for George Egan. And he looked like he really wanted that end zone. He basically ran over a defender to get to that goal line. There's not too much else you can say about this offense, really. They're just scoring at will.
So Ford Hamilton will come on for the extra point. He's 1 for 2 so far. Junior Jay's up 19-0 on the 15-yard touchdown run on 3rd and 10 from George Egan. So Hamilton's kick through the uprights again. A surprising score. That might even be an understatement. 20-0 Creighton Prep as we take another look at that touchdown run.
Got an update for that Bell West Millard South game that you mentioned earlier. 7-0 right now, Millard South with 4:54 to go in the opening quarter. Bell West got stopped on downs from their own 16, and Christian Nash of Millard South ran it in almost immediately. So 7-0 Millard South. That's definitely a game to keep an eye on. But if Bell West loses, is Millard South probably the team to beat in Class A?
I absolutely believe so. Yeah, they have been dominant to start the year. A lot like how we had, that two-team setup at the top with Bellevue West and Westside last year. I think Millard South is that second team here in 2021. So here's Fenton's kick through the back of the end zone again. Another touchback, and Lincoln Southeast. Boy, they might be asking themselves, where has this game gone? Feels like just 5 seconds ago we were starting the game scoreless. It's now 20-0.
Well, you could hear the birdcage, or maybe you couldn't, but they were shouting overrated already. If you're shouting overrated at an opponent with 1:50 to go in the opening quarter, you know that something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. And for Lincoln Southeast, they've been dominated in the trenches. I hate to bring this up, but it looks a little bit like that Texas-Arkansas game from last Saturday.
Can't believe you willingly did that.
I can't either. I guess I'm just very happy that Prep is winning. Uh-oh.
A toss and pass. Butenbeck puts it in the air, and Applegate gets away from Jonah Moore and comes back to the ball for the catch. So how about that? A little backyard football from the Knights. Gains 26 yards and a first down.
Well, when nothing regular is working, you might as well go with something crazy. And Jake Applegate, a nice throw there. And or was that Will Barrett who threw it?
Butenbeck threw it.
Oh, Butenbeck threw it. Okay, so whole bunch of surprises coming from this Lincoln South offense, but they need it right now.
This time Butenbeck will go with the more conventional route as a running back and break through some defenders, crossing midfield for a gain of 4 yards to the Prep 49. So Lincoln Southeast for the first time tonight into Creighton Prep territory.
Yeah, and on that last play, that nice passing play from Butenbeck to Applegate, you could see that Jonah Moore was slipped a little bit trying to recover for the ball, and maybe that was more of a short throw by Butenbeck, but you have to figure he's still working his way back into things. That's not a play that he's going to miss by the time the end of the season rolls around.
Play action. Looking to go downfield. Reddick had it knocked out of his hands. Who's going to fall on it? Creighton Prep says they have it.
They do.
And they do. The Junior Jays will get another drive in Lincoln Southeast territory as they get a strip sack and recover it at the 44 of the Knights.
Yeah, it looked like that was Ryan Carney who ended up falling on the ball. And that defensive line, they have not sacked Willem Reddick yet. They have forced him to scramble twice, but who needs a sack when you can just hit a guy and he can fumble the ball for you? The defensive line, definitely the MVPs of this game. I'm not sure how many game balls you can give out, but you better give out at least 4 because that line has been punishing the Knights offense all night.
Junior Jays with 51 seconds left in the opening quarter. Chance to go up by 27 if they can find the end zone.
Uh-oh, trickery.
They'll do that double run again with the toss to Stessman and hand off to Johnson on the end around, and he tries to throw it, and that one incomplete for the crossing man, tight end Cade Salmon, so 2nd and 10 coming up.
I know you're up 20-0, but maybe first quarter not the time for a play like that, having your junior receiver and kick returner try a roll-out pass, but, it was working. He had the blocks, and that's the crazy thing. He wasn't under any pressure really to get that ball away. He just couldn't find the holes to run up field. Just continued domination on both sides of the trenches by Creighton Prep so far tonight.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 44.
A lot of guys in that backfield.
Pernicke gives to Stessman, and he will try to push the pile, and he does. Down close to the 40. We'll see where they mark it. Looks like the 41-yard line will be the spot of choice. So a gain of 3 yards on the play. 3rd and 7 coming up.
I suppose another comparison for this game so far, since I know Nebraska fans love their history and they're not going to make much of any on Saturday with the game in Norman. I mean,
Holy
I'm
cow.
I'm sorry, but
Oh, man.
I don't think there's any way that the Huskers keep that within 10. But this kind of looks like that Nebraska-Florida Fiesta Bowl, that one where Tommy Frazier broke off that big 80-yard touchdown run. Even when it looks like the Prep run game has been stopped, they keep finding a way to get those extra yards.
Final play of the quarter. Pernicke rolls right on third down, sets his feet, pumps. Now he's going to try to run, and he is going to be dragged down after a gain of only 2. So when we get things going in the second quarter, Prep will have it fourth down and about 5. Will likely go for it from the 39-yard line. But Brendan, I don't know if you could ask for a much better start from the Junior Jays. They're up 20-0 on the top four, or the number 4 team in the state.
No, we thought Papillion La Vista was a great start with that pump block for a touchdown. Boy, how wrong we were. This has just been an incredible start, and it all starts with the trenches. We've been talking about this Prep team, how they could be a difficult team to beat in the playoffs. And at this point, by the end of the year, I think the only team that should feel confident that they can beat them would be Millard South, because they look like this team looks like right now it could be 3-0 if we'd had this team all year. It's incredible how dominant they've become on both sides of the line, and really just how much fun they're having. You can see that the bench, you saw it a lot against Papio and even a little bit against Bell West. They're enjoying this game. The Birdcage is enjoying the game. They're super excited, super pumped up for this game. But there's a different vibe around this team than there was last year at this time. This just feels slightly better. This feels a lot more fun.
So it'll be 4th and 5 to begin the second quarter, and Prep is going to have the offense out on the field. So this is a big opportunity for the Knights.
No, it looks like they're punting.
Okay, they are going to punt.
Yeah.
Yep. So they will punt from the 39, and I think this might be the right call here. Try to pin Lincoln Southeast deep and keep the momentum rolling, but see how this transpires with Luke Fenton set to punt. Gets it away from just short of the midfield stripe.
Oh, that's going to be placed well.
Spiraling kick. It's going to bounce, and Pargo just quite can't get to it. It'll bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Knights will start yet another drive at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Lincoln Southeast has gone 0 for 4 now. They've only picked up 1 first down so far. The other 3 drives have ended in 3 and outs, and the one that did get a first down ended with a strip sack.
Yeah,
so
and
a lot to improve on for the Knights.
Even that first down was on a gadget play. They still have not ran their offense to the point where they can get 10 yards through 3 plays. And at this point, I'm not sure that they're going to for most of this game, because that Prep defense is motivated and they're just flying around the field.
Will Barrett goes in motion, fake the toss to him, and they hand off up the middle to Butenbach, and he's going nowhere. They'll give him maybe a yard on the play out to the 21, and it'll be 2nd and 9 as McTaber was in there, Kyle Munt was in there. Junior Jay's front 7 continues to power over the Knights' offensive line thus far.
Yeah, a lot of carries for Mac Butenbach already, and this is nothing new. He's averaging 27 carries a game on the year, but normally those 27 carries go for a lot more than his current total, which is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 yards.
So 2nd and 9 from the 21, shotgun formation this time. As Reddick will look to throw, fires to the left side. He's got a man open, and is that caught?
Yeah,
what
I think
a
it
catch
was
on the fingertips by Will Barrett out across the 45-yard line to the 48. That's a gain of 27 and a first down for the cousin of Michael Barrett.
Good play there from Barrett. It looked a little bit like Prep was going in a soft cover 2. You had Sam Rodino, the senior at safety, and then Jonah Moore is kind of the corner in that area. But Will Barrett, experienced senior receiver, was able to find the soft spot in the zones and was able to capitalize. Nice throw there by Reddick. Definitely his best throw of the night. And once again, Lincoln Southeast has a little bit of momentum. They just got to make sure they can keep it.
Just over a minute into the second quarter, 3 receivers to the far side. They're going to give it to Butenbach, who is stood up just across midfield. Pargo is there. Carney got him around the ankles, and it's a gain of 2. So 2nd and 8 coming up from midfield.
The crazy thing about that run is it looked like Butenbach might have had a chance to actually break into the second level for the first time all night, but he didn't because the second level broke into him. They just came right up there and made the stop. This defense is filled with guys who have a nose for the ball and are very fast at getting to it, and that's continued all night.
Applegate goes in motion. Well, fake to Butenbach, fake to Applegate. The low throw is incomplete. That was not a backwards pass by any means. Will Barrett, the intended receiver on the screen pass. The pass was low, so 3rd and 8 coming up from midfield, and This is something Lincoln Southeast has really struggled with so far. They're having trouble getting yardage on first and second down, forcing themselves into tough third down situations.
Well, the thing is, that long passing offense of theirs, it's working somewhat. They've managed to move the ball downfield there. That's basically the only time they've done so. The issue is, Willem Reddick hasn't had time at all to really look downfield on most of these third downs. They got to block well here.
There goes Barrett in motion. They're going to throw a slant, and that's perfectly executed by the Knights. Applegate goes in and out and gets inside the 35. Makes a move on Pargo. He's inside the 30. Look at Applegate banging off defenders inside the 25 for a big gain, and more importantly, a first down.
And there's those missed tackles for Prep. They were key against Bell West, and Prep can only hope that they aren't key here tonight, because a couple of the keys I had for Lincoln Southeast for this game were take advantage of big plays and let the receivers do the work.
Knights.
That was certainly Jake Applegate doing the work.
Oh, yeah. Knights will go hurry up here. First and 10 from the 23. Here's Butenbach. Not going anywhere. Prep's defense again all over him at the line of scrimmage. It was a 27-yard pitch and catch on third down from Reddick to Applegate. Knights will have second and 10 from the 23.
You know, I feel like with this hurry-up offense, the Knights should go back to the pass because, again, the pass is the only thing that's been consistently moving the ball downfield, but hurrying the ball up only to go right back into the line of scrimmage and bang your head into a brick wall for a yard or two, that's clearly not working. They should really just stick to the air until Prep manages to stop it.
Timeout Lincoln Southeast with 9:04 remaining in the second quarter. Prep still holding on to that 20-0 lead. If you're just joining us, Junior Jays have scored on a 15-yard touchdown run by Pierce Johnson, a 6-yard touchdown run from Shamar Brown, and a 15-yard touchdown run by George Egan. So Prep ground game has certainly been the story so far, and so has the Lincoln Southeast ground game, but that ground game has not been working to this point.
No, it's the story because of how little it's had to write home about. Come on, that was kind of funny.
I see what you did
yeah,
there, yeah.
Okay. But it's really down to the offensive line for both teams. The offensive line for Prep looks like they came out hungry, and the offensive line for Lincoln Southeast looks a little bit like they came out ready to go back to Lincoln. And that's been the difference because other than that, the big plays have been about even. Big difference is that Preps have come on the ground. Lincoln Southeast has come through the air. And another big difference, of course, Prep's been able to capitalize on those big plays. Lincoln Southeast hasn't.
Still plenty of time, though, for the Knights, especially if they can punch it into the end zone to close out this drive. They've got second and 10 from the 23. I formation. Willem Reddick takes the snap, looking for another slant. He's got Applegate, and that one coming in a little too hot, off his hands, incomplete. Jonah Moore with the coverage, and it'll be third and 10.
Well, you know who else likes big plays?
Who?
Millard South, Bellevue West. We've had 2 touchdowns in the past about 30 seconds.
Wow.
L.J. Richardson got a 76-yard touchdown on what appears to be a forward pass, so they're giving it to Daniel Kalin as a passing touchdown. Then immediately the next play, Gage Stenger threw to Jake Gassaway for a 70-yard touchdown. It's 14-7. They're still in the first quarter over there. I mean, do we blame the fans if they want to start going and watching that game?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Third and 10 coming up from the 23. Reddick will throw out of the backfield. There's Applegate on a swing route, and he's wrapped up after a gain of only 3.
That was Butenbach.
Oh, yeah. Butenbach making the catch. Reddick with the pass, gain of 3, so it'll be make it 4th and 7 from the 20.
I mean, considering all the time that the Lincoln Southeast receivers have spent in the backfield, I don't blame you for confusing a receiver and a running back. It's difficult to tell them apart at this point, but 4th down, it looks like they're going to go for this, and I do think that's the right decision at this point because points on the board are important, yes, but what's also important with the 20-0 deficit that you're facing is touchdowns because that's the way to make up a deficit like this.
4th and 7 from the 20. Here's Reddick looking to his right. Going to float one on a corner route. It's incomplete. There are no flags, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. The intended target was the tight end Luke Blatchford. He was covered well by Michael Barrett.
Indeed he was.
And the Prep crowd rising to their feet, saluting that defense. They have held the Knights scoreless through the first 12, 14 minutes or so of this one.
They certainly have, and you mentioned the coverage by Michael Barrett. Good tackler, but you could see he handled himself pretty well, having to go one-on-one against Blatchford on the corner route. That's a pretty difficult route for a defensive back to cover because you're going to have to turn around and look for the ball at the same time, making sure the man you're guarding doesn't get away from you. But he did great on that play.
Direct snap. It's the Stescat
Oh!
formation, and he's going to be ripped down. They got him around his shoulders. They won't say it's a horse collar, I don't think. They're going to say no gain for Stessman. Oh, there is a flag. It was shrouded by the crowd of players trying to make the tackle. The flag is down at the 18 as they gave it to Stessman on the direct snap.
They do like that wildcat with Jack Stessman. They've run that a fair amount so far this season, and that goes back to what? Oh no, it's on prep.
Interesting.
Well,
Well, actually, I think they're good. Yeah, they picked it up, I think.
Okay.
Prep's huddle just went very far back for some
Okay,
reason.
never mind. Yep.
So 2nd and 10 from the 20. This time, Pernicke will be the one taking the snap. It's going to be an I formation. 2 receivers to the left side, Pierce Johnson and Thomas Lydon. Shamar Brown is the running back. He'll get the toss left. Some good blocks on the outside, and Shamar Brown just tries to squeeze through that gap. And he picks up about 5 yards to the 25, setting up a 3rd and 5 for the Junior Jays.
You can see the speed there from Shamar Brown, and 3rd and 5. This is where Prep's offense has it a little bit tougher because short passes and runs are no guarantees here, where the defense is definitely going to be keyed up to get a stop right at the stick. So Prep's got to be really careful here to make sure that they call a good play.
7:15 and counting remaining in the first half. 3rd and 5 for the Junior Jays. They go to the shotgun, 3 receiver set. Here's Pernicke, looking right. Now having to step up, floats it back to the left side. There's a little bit of separation, but
And
not
there's the
enough.
flag.
There is a flag, though, as the pass went incomplete, intended for Trey Olden. So this should be defensive pass interference against Lincoln Southeast, and it would give Prep a free first down.
Well, you could see he was basically getting his jersey grabbed, Olden was. A nice throw there by Pernicke. He was able to avoid all the pressure, step up in the pocket, and somehow make a nice throw. So good first down for Prep. Not necessarily one that they get of their own doing, but certainly one they'll take, and the offense is able to stay on the field.
Well, we saw it last week. When you take those shots, that's the kind of thing you can happen. You can generate penalties down the field if you've gotten your man just a little bit beat. Bellevue West committed several pass interference penalties late in the game last week, and there's the first from the Knights. So 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Pernicke will audible as he's got Shamar Brown to his left.
Single coverage here on the near side.
Bubble screen. Olden trying to get to the outside, and he's wrestled down. Nice tackle made on the perimeter. Gain of only 2. Will Jeske made the stop. And it'll be 2nd and 9 after a gain of only 1.
Jeske's been pretty key for this defense, too. So far in the year, he's got 20 tackles and a pick. He's by far been their most prolific defensive back when it comes to getting stops. And he does so again there. But Prep continuing to work those short passes and those runs basically anywhere on the field. And for the most part, they're continuing to, if not necessarily break it for big yardage, at the very least get some yardage.
So they'll go back to the I formation with George Egan, the fullback, in the game. 2nd and 9, 6 minutes left in the first half. It's Shamar Brown bouncing left and cutting back in and twisting his way down to the 39. It's another short gain, so Lincoln Southeast a chance to get off the field. It's going to be 3rd and 7 from the 39.
We mentioned in the pregame these guys are slow starters but fast finishers, and it does appear that they've kind of shaken off the funk of the first quarter. Maybe it was the long drive from Lincoln. Maybe it was just coming out and getting punched in the mouth a little bit by Prep, but the defense has definitely improved since that quarter break.
So 3rd and 7 from the 39.
Single coverage again here on Lydon.
Yep, 3 receiver set. They'll send Brown in motion. Pernicke trying to roll right. Interesting pump fake. Now going to float it down the sideline, and it's going to be picked. Intercepted at the 33-yard line by Lincoln Southeast. That was Jackson Martin with his 2nd interception of the year, but he's down. He's down and injured at the 33. Pernicke was trying to get it to Thomas Lydon on a jump ball, but Martin leapt up and picked it off, and as they tend to him, we'll take a quick break. Welcome back to Burke Stadium. Jackson Martin, after intercepting the pass, fortunately able to get off the field on his own power, so definitely good to see there. That was a very acrobatic, athletic play to pick that off.
It certainly was. He stayed with Thomas Lydon the whole way. We kept pointing out the single coverage on Thomas Lydon, but then as soon as it was targeted, Jackson Martin goes up and makes the interception, and it looked like there might have been a little miscommunication between Pernicke and Lydon, because Lydon originally had a curl route where it looked like he had separation. Pernicke didn't throw a pump fake to him and kind of motioned for him to go a little deeper, but ended up not working.
5:10 left in the first quarter. Lincoln Southeast goes with a screen pass to Will Barrett, and he will pick up 6 or 7 yards to the 40, so a nice start to the drive. Will Barrett has been certainly a big factor in this Lincoln Southeast offense so far. Sets up 2nd and 3.
They've been getting the ball into the hands of their playmakers. A lot of touches for Will Barrett, out of the backfield, out in space, running past the first down sticks. He's been getting the ball a lot, and that figures to continue because he's been kind of torching that prep defense when he gets space.
Knights go with the pistol. They'll give it to Butenbach, who's got the first down, and gets brought down at the 46-yard line by Michael Palmisano, but a gain of 6 and a move of the chains for the Knights.
Well, there's the first big play of the game for Butenbach. I'm not sure. You're the one keeping stats, but I think that might have been more than his entire yardage total so far today.
I wouldn't be shocked. Prep has certainly bottled him up. Knights have 1st and 10 now at the 46. 4:20 remaining in the first half. As this is Butenbach again, patiently trying the right side and pushing forward, close to another first down. So things starting to open up just a little bit for that Lincoln Southeast run game. It's a gain of 9 to cross midfield.
Yeah, it's certainly not just the defense that's starting to play a lot better. It's the offense as well. And that's what happens when you get those deep passing plays. The prep offense has to start respecting, or the prep defense, has to start respecting the passing game a little more. And that means that the run game now has a little bit more room to operate, and Butenbach has been using that room well.
2nd and 1, they're going to try a pass, and it's complete on a little curl route to Jake Applegate on the left side, brought down by Riley Mahoney. It's a gain of 5 yards and another Lincoln Southeast first down, so back-to-back drives. Knights offense moving the ball well. We'll see if they can finish this one off.
They're certainly stringing together a much better quarter, but as you mentioned, finishing this off, that's going to be the key. There's still a big goose egg on the scoreboard under Lincoln Southeast, and they cannot afford to keep that goose egg up there going into halftime if they want to win this game and prove that they are worthy of that number 4 ranking in the state.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the prep 40-yard line. 3:15 left in the half. 3 receiver set. They bring Barrett in motion. Fake to him, give to Butenbach, and
boy.
He is slammed. What a hit by Joe Keeney. Mick Tabor gave him some help. That's a loss of 4 yards for Lincoln Southeast.
Well, as one door opens, another door closes. I guess in football, as one hole opens, another hole gets run through by Joe Keeney, and he tackles you for a 4-yard loss.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 14 from the 44-yard line. Joe Keeney came into the night with 2 tackles for loss, adds another one there.
Oh, no.
Reddick gonna go down for
There's
a sack.
Keeney again.
Keeney all over the place for the prep defensive line. As he comes up with the sack, it's going to be 3rd and a mile for Lincoln Southeast.
And a timeout called by prep. That might not be – I can think of 2 reasons to call that timeout. Number 1, you want to save time, so you've got enough time for a 2-minute drill. There's 2:29 to go in this half. Or you just, as the defensive coordinator, you want to congratulate your guys for the incredible performance they're putting together right now. This is incredible. Just when we thought that the tables were turning last drive, Lincoln Southeast turned it over on downs. Just when we thought the tables were turning over this drive, Joe Keeney decided, nah, I'm going to turn them right back in Lincoln Southeast's face. He's been ripping through that line like a knife through butter right now, and that sets up a 3rd and 25. So this is where we really might get to see some fun trick plays from Lincoln Southeast, because that might be the only way they can get this first down.
Yeah, we'll see if they try to take a shot down the field or just try to go with a safe, high-percentage screen pass, running back draw type of play on 3rd and 25. As you mentioned, the drive got off to a nice start with some big catches by Will Barrett, Jake Applegate. Butenbach had some nice runs, but Joe Keeney just shuts it down, and we'll see if Prep can finish things off on this drive. 3rd and 25 for the Knights from their own 45-yard line. Looks like they'll go with a shotgun formation. 3 receivers will line up on the left side. That's Applegate, Barrett, and Will Jeske.
You got to make sure that Willem Reddick has time to throw this ball. You cannot let the defensive line get through again. Never mind.
Keeney was coming home. Nice job by Reddick to step up and out of it. Passes up in the air and caught on a deflection by Barrett, and he's down to the 15. So you said we might see something crazy here on this 3rd and 25. And
I think that qualifies.
Yeah, another tipped pass completion for the Knights. They gained 40 yards in a first down.
Well, that shows you the great hand-eye coordination and the great football IQ of all of these receivers. They're not giving up on the play. They're just making sure that they know where the ball is at all times and what they can do to go get it. So now another red zone trip, but they got to make sure they make this one count with 2:04 to go in the opening half.
Handed off. Butenbach on a little misdirection. Sidesteps one and gets down to the 10-yard line, so a gain of 5. This is the farthest down the field Lincoln Southeast has traveled tonight, as it'll have, looks like more of a 2nd and 6 here from the 11. Michael Barrett was in on the tackle. 1:45 left in the first half, so the Knights certainly doing a good job milking the clock, not giving Prep an opportunity to score, but Junior Jays do get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, milking the clock, they know that this 20-point deficit that they've dug into, they don't want to get it to 13 and then have it go right back to 20. They want to make sure that Prep offense has as little time as possible.
This is Will Barrett on a toss, and he's going to lose yardage back to the 12-yard line. A host of blue jerseys converge around him, and there's an injured Junior J. That is Joe Keeney at the 15. Keeney, who has had a tackle for loss and a sack already on this drive, is down on the play, and we will take a quick break and be right back as Keeney gets attention. Joe Keeney able to get back to his feet and walk off the field on his own power. Good sign there. Lincoln Southeast will have 3rd and 7 from the 12-yard line. 1:16 remaining in the first half. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman with you here on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. Junior Jays hold a 20-0 lead. Knights trying to avoid being shut out here in this first half.
Got to make sure they can get a score here. Obviously, it's 4-down territory at this point, but you got to make sure you get at least a little bit of that yardage.
Short throw. Barrett sidesteps one, and let's see where they mark him. I believe he's going to be a yard short, so this should be a no-brainer. Go for it on 4th down, as Lincoln Southeast will need a yard after the 6-yard completion.
And Will Barrett, even when he sidesteps a guy, he still can't break free. It looked like he had Kyle Munt on him, was able to shake him for a little bit, but Munt recovered to make the tackle from behind. The Prep defense continuing to not give the Knights anything easy. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a big run up the middle here.
They'll sneak it on 4th and 1.
Looks like he got it.
Prep is saying he didn't get there. The officials are coming right down the 5-yard line, and they're going to say 1st down.
It did look like he got it for a little bit. That was a little bit of a surprise there. We expected that. I think we all expect him to go to Butenbach because he's been their main guy. Oh, no, timeout. I thought the ref was gesturing Prep ball for a second, and I got very excited. But no, you know, Butenbach's been the bell cow, obviously, all year, but Willem Reddick was able to take that and sneak it for the 1st down. He hasn't had a tremendous game, but he's certainly been on the money when he's needed to be.
So it'll be 1st and goal from the 5. Lincoln Southeast takes their 2nd timeout of the half. They've got 1 remaining. Clock stops with 32 seconds left in the first half. And got to believe Butenbach will see several carries here. Lincoln Southeast does need to watch the clock, though, with only 1 timeout left. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to manage between run and pass.
Yep. Well, you know who isn't managing between run and pass?
Who's that?
Bellevue West, Millard South. We're tied at 14 with 7:19 to go in the opening half. It was Caden Helms, a 67-yard pass from Nick Johannesburg.
Yep.
The backup. We saw Bell West go with their 2-quarterback platoon quite a bit last week. Looks like they're doing so again against Millard South.
So Lincoln Southeast trying to get on the board. They've got 2 fullbacks in front of the running back here. I'm not sure I've ever seen this. They're going to go play action, looking to throw an out route, and it is caught but short of the first down. Nope, they're going to say incomplete. Official initially said catch, but then ruled incomplete.
Looked like that might have been John Pargo on coverage. He's been all over for the defense. Couple of interceptions and a punt block already this year, and that continues there. A little bit of a shock. You saw the 4 fullbacks, or the 2 fullbacks, and you immediately thought run, but a surprise play action call almost works, but instead it's once again 2nd and 5.
The pass was intended for Luke Blatchford, the tight end, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 5. Lincoln Southeast will have 3 receivers on the left side. Flag flies before the snap, and this is going to hurt big time if it's a false start.
It is.
And it is.
Yep. This kind of looks like that first Raiders possession from overtime on Monday night where it looked like they might have had a score, ended up not having a score, got pushed backwards a bit, and then got an interception that doinked off a Ravens helmet. So we going to see a helmet doink?
I don't know, but boy, an interception would make this place erupt.
I mean, we certainly seen a couple of tipped passes, and now timeout prep here with 23 seconds to go in the opening half. And they're probably going over what they want the defense to do. I wouldn't be surprised if they dialed up some sort of pressure from the linebackers, because you can assume that with the 2nd and 10 now for 2nd and goal, Lincoln Southeast is probably going to look to the air once again. So, but you got to make sure that you get some pressure on Willem Reddick, because any quarterback can look good enough if he just sits in the pocket with nobody pressuring him at all. So I'd say maybe you see an outside linebacker blitz or 2 for prep, and they hope that's enough to get Reddick under pressure before he can find an open receiver.
And this is where it's huge for that prep secondary, having Jonah Moore back in that secondary, because Jake Applegate is a big red zone target at tight end. He stands at 6'4", and he can tower over some of those shorter corners like A.J. Jones and Caden Russell, but Jonah Moore has good length to him and can certainly match up with him. Looks like they're going to have Riley Mahoney on Applegate, though, here on 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Jonah Moore is not in the game right now, so that's something.
Shotgun formation.
Yep, there's the pass. They're looking for Helms.
Reddick is going for Applegate, and the catch
yeah.
is made for a touchdown. So with 20 seconds left, the Knights are finally on the board. It's 20-6.
Well, Applegate, you said big red zone target. Didn't use his size there, more so his speed. Just outran everybody on the corner route and was able to get the touchdown. That was desperately needed for the Knights. And now, at the very least, they've got some sort of morale boost heading into the halftime locker room.
Yeah, so that's the 2nd time I've brought up a player and started talking on him a little bit, and he scored.
Yeah, keep doing that. Just talk about every offensive player Prep has. Oh!
Here's the kick. Some tumbling going on after it left the foot, but extra point is good. So it's 20-7 with 20 seconds left, and we'll probably just see a kickoff and Prep take this one to halftime, but certainly a lot of things to be satisfied about if you're the Junior Jays.
Indeed there are, and you know, you keep talking up players who end up scoring. Why don't you talk up, I don't know, whoever the running back is, and we might see a nice 80-yard touchdown on the last play of the half.
That would be something, but I'm sure Prep will probably just go into a kneel down or some kind of very safe run, assuming the kick return doesn't go for anything crazy.
Well, it is Pierce Johnson. You never know.
Yep, he did take one for 67 yards in the season opener against Westside, so anything can happen with him. He's on the far side down there with Jack Stessman on the near side. 20 seconds on the clock. Lincoln Southeast on the board with a 10-yard touchdown pass from Willem Reddick to Jake Applegate.
I mean, 20 seconds is plenty of time to get a kick return to about the 40 or midfield, and then 2 passing plays or so, because Prep still got a timeout left. That could easily get in Fort Hamilton's field goal range to end this half with a morale boost of their own.
So for Applegate, that was his 4th receiving touchdown of the season through 4 games, so he's off to a very solid start scoring touchdowns for Lincoln Southeast. As the Knights will get set to boot this one away. Nate McCashland tee it up from the 40. Johnson and Stessman back deep to receive, as I said. So McCashland, it's ready to go. And it's a solid kick. He's got that breeze at his back, and Stessman is going to make the catch in the end zone. That's a touchback. So Prep will start at their own 20 and probably see this thing go to halftime fairly quickly.
Yeah, it looks like They're even bringing in Luke Heck, I think. He looked like he took off his orange jersey for a second. Pernicke is in the huddle, but
yeah, Heck was too, but he is going to head back to the sideline, so it will remain Pernicke.
And it looks like Pierce Johnson might be in the backfield for this one. Victory formation.
Yep. This first half was certainly a victory for the Junior Jays as Jack Pernicke will take a knee. Lincoln Southeast is not going to bother to use that last time out. And both these teams will head up the stairs and go to the locker room, and Creighton Prep has a lot to smile about after the first half. They lead it 20-7 over Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, plenty to smile about. Starts with that run game, of course. 3 different guys with a score, George Egan, Marty Brown, and Pierce Johnson. All 3 of them on pretty impressive runs, all for different reasons, too. So the blocking's been there, the running's been there. Prep's just got to make sure that they don't lose any intensity, because last year they had a lot of comebacks. They don't want to have a lot of comebacks against them this year.
Lincoln Southeast, number 4 team in the state. We'll see if they can get things closer in the second half. Stay with us. We'll have it for you in about 10 minutes on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. Welcome back to Burke Stadium. Top 10 football on the Creighton Prep Sports Network. Junior Jays lead the Lincoln Southeast Knights 20-7, and we're proud to have Mike Sells Omaha as our varsity sponsor. Navigate today's real estate market with a name you can trust. Mike Beacom with Nebraska Realty. Mike has over 20 years of experience in residential real estate, is a Prep alum, and a proud supporter of Prep athletics. Visit MikeSellsOmaha.com today. And Brennan, what's happened in this game today has been quite shocking. Junior Jays out to a 13-point lead over the 4th-ranked team in the state.
Well, one thing that we certainly can trust, just like Mike Sells Omaha, one thing we can definitely trust is the Prep running game. 3 different players with a rushing touchdown in the first quarter alone for Prep. Took a 20-7 lead, but things started to settle down. The Lincoln Southeast defense started to figure out a better play style, and Prep hasn't scored since that opening quarter. Lincoln Southeast has put a touchdown on the board. They did so late in the second quarter, just before halftime. But their passing attack has definitely improved. They only threw the ball once, I think, their first 6 plays. But since then, they have definitely found a much better passing attack. You mentioned to me at halftime this was a pretty senior-heavy team, and Will Barrett and Jake Applegate are 2 very talented senior receivers. They made a couple of big plays. Willem Reddick has made a couple of very nice throws, finding the soft spots in that Prep defense, and it's been good enough to result in 1 touchdown drive and another drive that went inside the Prep red zone before it stalled out. So that should be the key for Prep, especially because Lincoln Southeast is still playing from behind. It doesn't quite feel like it. This game feels a lot closer than 20-7, but Lincoln Southeast is still playing from 2 touchdowns down, so they will have to put the ball in the air a lot more. Prep's going to have to be wary of that when they come out on defense.
Yeah, so we give you a quick scoring recap of that first half. It started on a 15-yard end-around touchdown run by Pierce Johnson, then a 6-yard TD run by Shamar Brown, and then a 15-yard touchdown score from George Egan on the ground, and then Lincoln Southeast actually outscored Prep 7-0 in that second quarter, and it was on a 10-yard touchdown pass from Willem Reddick to Jake Applegate. So we get ready for the second half, and these 2 defenses have been locked down in the second half this season. Lincoln Southeast is yet to allow a second-half point this year, and Creighton Prep has only allowed 10 in total.
You know where the defenses aren't locked down?
Why?
Bell West, Millard South.
Oh, boy.
It is 28-21 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Yes, you heard that right. When we took off for halftime, it was 14-14, and we both figured there'd be some more scoring, maybe another big play or 2, maybe, 21-21 or something at halftime. No, it is 28-21, and I think the last 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game have all been of 60-plus yards. So it's just go out on the field, score, sit down to catch your breath for about 2 minutes, then go back out on the field and score again, which is not what it was in the second quarter of this game. You mentioned the defenses have been locked down. They started that lockdown well into the second quarter. Prep was able to get a 4th down stop on Lincoln Southeast when it looked like Southeast was finally going to put points on the board. Southeast did put points on the board a drive later, but that Prep offense has kind of lost the mojo and the flow that it had in the first half, and they're going to have to try and get that back, especially against a defense as good as Lincoln Southeast.
Well, my calculations are correct. NSAA-sanctioned track season has not started yet, but I think we can call that Bell West Millard South game a track meet. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
that is a crazy one going down at Feynman Field.
But if that's a track meet, what do you call this? You call this a golf match?
Potentially.
No offense, Mr. Razgushek. I know you're the state champion golf coach of this year, but I much prefer watching track meets to golf.
Well, we knew coming in that it was going to be a defensive slugfest between these 2 top 10 opponents, and for the most part it has, aside from Creighton Prep's hot start. So Junior Jays will get the football to start the second half. They'll have Pierce Johnson and Jack Stessman deep to receive. It'll be Nate McCashlin to kick it away. He went 1 for 1 on extra points in the first half to improve his season total to 10 for 10 on PATs.
Yeah, McCashlin's a really solid kicker. It's a good thing for Prep that they've got some really solid returners. Once again, Pierce Johnson and Jack Stessman back, but last time we saw this, McCashlin just booted the ball over both of their heads, so that'd be a good way to start off this drive for Lincoln Southeast. Don't give Prep a chance to get any momentum on special teams. Just have them start at the 20 like they've forced you to most of this game.
So here comes the kick from McCashlin. Second half underway at Burke Stadium. This one angled toward the right, and it's going to bounce through the end zone as Stessman watches it fly for a touchback. So the Junior J offense will take the field, and they picked up right where they left off in the second half of that Bell West game here in the first half of this one. Jack Pernicke was sharp. The run game was dominant with a combination of Shamar Brown and George Egan. What do you expect to see from the Junior Jays to start the second?
Well, I expect them to go back to what worked in the first quarter, which was a heavy dose of run left, run right, run up the middle, and run until they can't run anymore. And you can see that they're going to start that off here with George Egan in the backfield. But the run game worked, and they should probably get that run game back working to start the second half.
Two receivers to the left side, Johnson and Leiden. They'll give it to Shamar Brown, and boy, he's got some burst to start the second half. Gain of 8 on the ground to open up half number 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 2 from the 28, and Brown is a guy, we saw it especially in that game against Papio week 2. He can get better as games go on, and as defenses wear out and get tired, Shamar Brown can really attack them late.
He just seems to have an extra burst of speed to get through the hole where most defenders can't catch him in time, and he did that there, especially with the extra blocking from George Egan, the fullback.
2nd and 2. This time it's Egan, and he's going to pick up the first down across the 30, gain of 3 or 4 out to the 31, and it is a quick move of the chains for the Junior Jays, keeping it on the ground.
I know a lot of guys have had a lot of big plays, but Egan might have had the best night so far of any prep offensive player. He's got a touchdown, got a couple nice runs for first downs. He hasn't been given the ball as much as Marty Brown or Jack Stessman has necessarily, but when he's been given the ball, he's taken full advantage of those opportunities.
So a 1st and 10 at the 32, as this is going to be Shamar Brown. Look at that acceleration! Shamar Brown across midfield, and he's inside the 35 of Lincoln Southeast. What a run!
Oh, 34 yards really quickly, and we were just talking about him. We were talking about how he has such great acceleration and how he can just find the holes. He found a big one there and ripped right through it all the way down into Lincoln Southeast territory. And we were worried that the Southeast defense had figured prep out maybe, but you can't figure out a play like that.
34 yards, as he said. Shamar Brown right down the middle. 1st and 10, it's going to be a Pernicky pass. It's going to be to Leiden. It's there, and it picks up about 4 yards down to the 31. Leiden caught a 41-yard pass on a bubble screen in the first half. That one, his second catch, good for 4 yards, so 2nd and 6 coming up.
And, yeah, you talked about Leiden had a big play in the first half. He's been the primary receiver all year for this team, finally starting to make a big impact on the stat sheet in the past couple of games. But when you leave him in single coverage, you run the risk of him doing something like that, and he does that a lot.
Here's Brown. Solid patience gets him down to the 26. Gain of 5 on the play, sets up a manageable 3rd down and 1 for the Junior Jays. So Shamar Brown really showing off his full skill set, breaking tackles. We saw the acceleration on that 34-yard run, and there his patience to wait for just enough of a hole.
And this is a play where you probably just go power up the middle. It's been working all game. There's no reason to think it won't work now. You've got 3rd and about 3 feet. George Egan in the backfield, Marty Brown in the backfield. Just hand it to one of them and watch them work.
They will go I formation, one receiver on each side. Olden on the left, Leiden on the right. And it is Shamar Brown. Why not? Looks like the lunged forward is going to get him the first down. So he gets a yard. That's all he needed. And the Junior Jays will move the chains again down to the 25 of Lincoln Southeast.
And you said we've seen a lot of great skills of Shamar Brown, a lot of different skill sets too, the acceleration, the strength. And what we saw there was the football IQ from him, knowing where the sticks were, knowing he was going down, but he was able to reach out just enough to keep this prep drive alive.
9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Junior Jays marching it down the field to open up the second half. Pernicky in the shotgun, Brown to his left. It's a 3 wide receiver set. As Pernicky tries to look left, throws, and it's there. Trey Olden cuts inside the 15 and ducks his way down to the 15-yard line. It's close to a first down, and it is a first down for the Junior Jays.
And he's been a key guy for prep as well this year. He and Thomas Leiden have had a nice 1-2 punch as the receivers. They both have pretty similar skill sets. They're both good slot receivers who can make good catch and runs, and those are the types of guys that Jack Pernicky loves to throw to. He's thrown to both of them quite a lot this year.
Gain of 10, Olden's 3rd catch. He's got 14 yards now on the night. I formation on 1st and 10. As it's going to be a Pernicky design run, and this one is only going to gain a couple. Yep, we haven't seen Pernicky run too much. Just the 2nd time he's chosen to take off tonight. And Lincoln Southeast had him bottled up. They'll only give him a yard, actually.
Yeah, throughout the year, they've given the ball to Jack Pernicky, not as much as we expected. We knew he was a pretty good runner. We saw in the first game against Westside, he broke off a 25-yard carry. but his 6 carries since then have gone for a grand total of 0 yards. Of course, that includes sacks, but he has not been a key to that Prep running offense like some expected he would be coming into this year.
Shamar Brown, he's certainly been a key to the running
Oh!
offense, and he's in. Second touchdown of the night for Shamar Brown, 14 yards, and the Junior Jays lead by 19.
Well, Marty Brown, so far this year, he's had over 50 yards in every game. He just about got 50 rushing yards on that drive.
So we'll take a look at the replay after this extra point. We do have a Lincoln Southeast player down at the 3-yard line, but Shamar Brown, 11 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns
8
now
yards
on
a
the evening.
carry. Good grief. I mean, look at the cut. Look at the cut. It's incredible how fast and how shifty he is. You don't see the word unfair thrown around a lot with high school guys unless it's like a Derrick Henry type. But Marty Brown is 6 foot, 205 pounds. Solid muscle. And he can move like that?
It's incredible to see the way he's grown physically and just in terms of athleticism after last season. As fortunately, we see the Lincoln Southeast player able to get up and walk off the field on his own power. That's Cooper Johnson, the defensive tackle. So Prep will set up for
no. Oh, are they going for 2? Nope.
No, they're not.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I got excited.
It can fool you when you got Pernicky and Egan in that PAT set, but it will be an extra point try for Ford Hamilton, who's 2 for 3 tonight. 7:45 left in the third quarter. Junior Jays took 4 minutes, 15 seconds and punched it in to begin the second half.
Got to make sure that you don't let a Lincoln Southeast player get around the edge because Hamilton did have one of them blocked earlier.
No problems there. Hamilton puts it through again, and the Junior Jays lead 27-7, showing no signs of a letdown coming out of the halftime locker room as Shamar Brown scores his 5th touchdown of the season already.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about how good he is and how much he's grown both physically and in skill set throughout the year. And he spent a lot of time in the weight room after last offseason with Vinny Cassiopa, who was the bell cow for Prep last year. He was a senior. He's graduated. So the running back job, even though Jack Stessman's still here and has been a pretty good performer all year, running back job was open, and Marty Brown has seized it and made it his own. He's been the primary guy ever since the West Side game. Had a lot of impressive summer practice runs, and he is just an incredible sight to behold when he's running the ball.
Yeah, and you talked about in your pre-cap article going into this game that both Shamar Brown and Butenbach, Lincoln Southeast running back, are not only extremely good ball carriers, they're both juniors. So these two guys could easily be duking it out for best running back in the state next year.
Well, they certainly could. I mean, that's directly plagiarized from the article, but I'll let it slide because now I know somebody's reading.
I cited the article.
Yeah, now I know somebody's reading those articles, so that's a good sign.
So here's Luke Fenton's kick. Low line drive into that breeze. It's a good one. Drives the return man back to the 1.
Here come the Gunners.
And that's a big hit by
That's Michael Burt.
Amar Joe Brown making the play at the 18-yard line. So the return man was Owen Baxter, and he got clobbered. And Lincoln Southeast, again, unfavorable starting field position.
Yeah, the Gunners came right downfield. You see John Pargo's one of those guys, and he's a pretty speedy guy, evidenced by his pump block that he had earlier in the year. But when you worry about him, you tend to forget about some of the other guys, and that leads to issues for your kick returner. Another thing that's had issues is, I'm not going to say Bell West Millard South, it's actually been the Lincoln Southeast offensive line. They got to make sure that they give Willem Reddick enough time to throw the ball in this second half, now coming back from 20 down once again.
First play of half number 2 for the Knights is going to be dragged down on a bubble screen. Gain of 4 on the play to Will Barrett.
That's a great open field tackle there by Kyle Munt. Barrett, as we've seen, is a pretty skilled player who can make a lot of guys miss, but Munt broke him down pretty well in the open field and was able to make the ankle tackle to hold him to a gain of just 4.
Barrett went for 100 receiving yards and a touchdown last week against Grand Island. He was one of the top offensive performers, and he was the leading receiver coming into this game. So 2nd and 6 from the 23. 7:05 left in the third. Butenbach trying the right side and getting piled on at the 25. Gain of only 2. As it's going to be 3rd and 4 for Lincoln Southeast.
He's been quiet tonight, but it's not the same thing as when a player just doesn't get enough opportunities. You could more so say that he's been silenced by that Prep defensive line. He's only had, I think, 2 runs of more than 5 yards, and those were for 6 and 9 yards, respectively. He has just struggled to get going all night, and that continues here in this third quarter.
So here's 3rd and 4. Lincoln Southeast struggled mightily on third downs in the first half. Here is Reddick throwing right. It's caught, but it looks like it might be short of the sticks. Depends on forward progress, and they're going to give him the first down as the catch was made by Luke Blatchford, gain of 4, and a move of the chains.
It's a good catch by Blatchford there, using his size against a smaller Michael Barrett to make the play and move the sticks, and that was a huge play, really necessary for Lincoln Southeast. You mentioned they struggled with third downs a lot in the first half. It's important that they don't struggle with those coming back from this deficit here in this second half, and so far, so good.
6:05 remaining in the third quarter. Prep leads by 20. I formation. Lincoln Southeast has it 1st and 10 at the 29. This is a delayed handoff to Butenbach, trying to bounce things outside on the right, and he's only able to gain a yard or two as Creighton Prep contains him well again.
Inside or outside, it's been the same result for him all night. There's a guy in a blue jersey coming to tackle him.
Only a 1-yard gain for Butenbach, who came into this one with 3 straight performances with 145 or more rushing yards. Creighton Prep has held him well below that total tonight.
What's he sitting at right now?
Not totally sure, but certainly a low number.
It's got to be under 50, right?
Yeah, probably something close to that or underneath it. It'll be 2nd and 9. As Reddick will float one down the left side. There's Applegate, and there's an incomplete pass. Jonah Moore was able to break it up. I mentioned his size being a key earlier, and he looked like he stacked up perfectly with Applegate that time.
Well, we were a little worried about the rust maybe. Jonah Moore hasn't played at all this season. This is his first game back, and hand fighting with an experienced receiver like Applegate, that could lead to a penalty if you're not careful, but luckily for Prep, Moore's able to keep his eye on the ball and make the play.
So it'll be 3rd and 9. Once again, Lincoln Southeast finds themselves behind the sticks on third down. They'll go with a shotgun formation, 3 receiver set, and make that 2. They have Applegate, the tight end, toward the top of the screen. As Reddick fires, and it's too tall and incomplete for Blatchford. That's going to bring up 4th down, and the Creighton Prep defense off the field quickly again.
He has been looking for Luke Blatchford quite a lot, but Michael Barrett, who we talked about quite a bit, has done a very good job at making sure that Blatchford's a little limited.
5:11 left in the third quarter. Lincoln Southeast will punt, and if Creighton Prep can have another grind out yardage, run some clock type of drive, things could become really dicey for Lincoln Southeast. So here comes the punt. Pierce Johnson steps up. He's going to try to play it. He makes the catch inside the 35 and makes a move. Johnson across midfield into the 45 of the Knights, and Prep has great starting field position for what feels like the 1,000th time tonight.
Yeah, the effort on him there was really good, and the smarts too. He knew there was a defender coming, but he also knew that the blocks were being picked up well. He decided to take it through the blocks, basically, and it worked well for him. Pierce Johnson made an impact both on offense and special teams tonight. All he's got left to do is get a sack on defense, and he'll have completed the trifecta.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Lincoln Southeast 45. Pernicke in the shotgun. Jack Stessman is in the game at running back after Shamar Brown's big drive. 2 receivers to the left. Pierce Johnson on the outside. Olden in the slot. This is Stessman darting through the middle and gaining a good chunk of yardage. Give him 5 on 1st down as he takes it down to the 40-yard line.
And Stessman has been kind of quiet all year. Hasn't had as many carries as we expected him to coming into this season. We expected him to be the lead guy. Instead, it was Marty Brown. But 11 carries, 39 yards coming into this game. And he's a guy who, just like Brown, Prep can rely on to get those yardage when they need to.
I formation on 2nd down. Stessman is still the running back. As
Egan.
It's going to be George Egan, and immediately he was getting tripped up. Maybe got a yard on the play.
I think that's the first time he's been held below 5 yards on a carry this game, because he's been having a really good time of it.
So it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the 39. Most likely 4th down territory for Creighton Prep if they can remain within 5 yards of the sticks. As they're going to go to the shotgun, 3 receiver set, Pernicke and Olden on the left, or rather Johnson and Olden on the left, and then Leiden on the right.
The safety's got to make sure they help over the top on the receivers.
Quick throw, Leiden makes the catch, breaks a tackle, runs through a man. They're trying to strip the ball, but Leiden hangs on, and he's down to the 26 with a 13-yard gain and a first down.
Thomas Leiden's pretty good at catching a football, and that continues here. And you could see maybe a little bit of trickery from Prep, not necessarily on the play itself, but on the route running. You could tell that Lincoln Southeast was kind of expecting a long pass over the top, but instead Leiden runs the slant, and he gets wide open.
3 receiver set again, shotgun formation again. As Pernicke this time gives to Stessman. Trying to get around the right side, some good burst to turn the corner, and he's pushed out of bounds near the 20. Looks like they'll give him 6 yards on the play, so Stessman having a solid start to the second half. That's one thing that's very nice for Prep. If one of their running backs is tired, they can just flip right to another one and keep the same level of production.
I'm reminded of an old quote about Bear Bryant's Alabama teams. I can't remember who said it, but it was like, you know, you don't lose much when one of your guys gets injured and you replace a horse with a horse. Obviously, that's a metaphor, but Prep's got a lot of great running backs. And here's one of them now.
Look at Stessman. Down inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. 14 more yards for Stessman as he'll set up first and goal for Creighton Prep. And Shamar Brown has not even seen the field on this drive, and the Junior Jays are still running it right down Lincoln Southeast's throat.
Well, he hasn't really needed to. Prep's got so much talent in that backfield. They could probably get away with just doing fullback runs all day if they had to, because George Egan's that talented.
First and goal at the 6. Prep trying to grow their 20-point lead. Here is Stessman again. He goes in standing. Another Creighton Prep touchdown.
Make it 4 different guys.
Stessman takes it in from 6 yards out, and it's 33-7. 2:48 remaining in the third quarter, and Creighton Prep has found the end zone on the ground, make it 5 times tonight.
And the bird cage is deep. The bird cage is loving it. And barring something crazy, it certainly looks like Prep's going to get back to 500 on the year, all thanks to that run game. Everybody's getting basically whatever they want to get right now. You know who else is getting whatever they want to get?
Somebody in the Millard South Bell West
Oh,
game?
you're darn right. It's 28 all at halftime, Tyler.
Okay. So here's the extra point from Ford Hamilton. He's already 3 for 4 tonight. And he boots that one through to make it 4 for 5 as it's 34-7.
And replay here of that Stessman touchdown. You can see he takes the handoff, finds the hole, and just really runs right through. It looks a lot like that Marty Brown touchdown run we saw in the first half. Just finding a big hole and running right through it. And that's leading to quite a lot of points on the scoreboard for Creighton Prep.
So 2:48 left in the third quarter, and Creighton Prep just an explosion of a night against Lincoln Southeast. They're ahead 34-7 in a game that just about everybody expected to be close, to be tightly contested, you know, something like a 24-21 type of final score with these two defenses and these two run games going head-to-head. But Creighton Prep has just ran laps around Lincoln Southeast tonight, and tonight's passing game, it's looked good at times tonight, but they're going to have to kick it into really high gear down the stretch if they want to mount a comeback.
Yeah. You know who else has had a good night? Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. 8 of 11 for 65 yards and 5 carries for 74 yards and a score. He had another big run that was called back for a hold, but he's a pretty darn good running quarterback himself. I know people always talk about Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson, Cam Newton as those mobile-type quarterbacks, but Daniel Jones can run the ball when he needs to, just like Creighton Prep tonight.
So he hasn't tripped tonight?
Oh, no, he hasn't actually. He's stayed up.
There we go. So Luke Fenton will kick it away. Junior Jays lead by 27. Low line drive is going to be taken from the 1. This is Owen Baxter crossing the 20 and hit hard at the 23-24 yard line.
Looks like that was Michael Palmisano, the senior.
Yep, Palmisano was there, as was Nick Keeney.
There's some man down still after that hit.
That's the return man. That's Baxter at the 24. He got hit low.
He did. He looked like he almost got flipped a little bit, and that's definitely not what you want to see.
So as they take a look at him with 2:44 left in the third quarter, we'll take a quick break. All right, welcome back to Burke Stadium. Junior Jays leading by 27 as Owen Baxter able to get off the field with no issue. Lincoln Southeast will start at their own 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Junior Jays pressing on the outside.
Got to get a touchdown on this drive.
Butenbeck gains only a couple. Prep continues to limit him. If you're just joining us, the story of the game has been the Prep run defense limiting the big running back, Max Butenbeck, and then Prep's run game on the other side. Just no matter who they hand it to, it's just been up and down the field they go.
You know what else has been up and down the field? Millard South, Bellevue West. 392 total yards for Millard South, 352 total yards for Bell West, and it's halftime, guys.
Wow. Here's a bubble screen. This is Barrett. There's a
There's
flag.
a flag,
This
yep.
is going to come back as Jonah Moore was blocked in the back by Applegate.
No, it looked like that might have been Owen Baxter. No, was it Applegate? Yeah.
It was
I thought the
Applegate.
9 was a 7 for a second. I'm having a little bit of trouble reading jersey numbers tonight, but you can see that Lincoln Southeast, they're still sticking to a game plan that worked for a while in that second quarter, and it's pretty simple game plan. It's much the same one that Prep has. It's get the ball into the hands of the playmakers and let them work in open space. Difference is Prep's been far more successful at it than the Knights have.
So let's see how far the Knights get backed up here. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 20. So 2nd and 14 from the 20-yard line for Lincoln Southeast. 2:06 on the clock here in the third quarter. 3 receiver set plus Applegate as they'll run out of the shotgun. And it's a play fake. Looking to throw. Middle of the field. There's Applegate making the grab. And Munt drags him down a little bit awkwardly.
Yeah. Good to
And
see him getting up quick because that did not look very good.
Yep. Gain of 12 on the play for Applegate. It will be 3rd and 2 from the 32-yard line.
He and Will Barrett have been not necessarily carving up the Prep secondary. You can't say they're carving up something when they've only put 7 points on the scoreboard. But they've done a good job at finding the space, getting open, and making the catches. They just haven't been able to string it together consistently. If they can do that in this second half, and especially in this fourth quarter, we might still have a game on our hands.
Here's 3rd and 2. Might be 4-down territory for Lincoln Southeast. As this is going to be throw over in the middle. It's tipped, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 41-yard line on the tip drill.
It's Zach
was
McClay.
Zach McClay and Creighton Prep, the defense again.
Well, we worried about tipped passes a little bit in the first quarter because the first 2 of them for Lincoln Southeast were both tipped. Then they got a couple of catches off of tipped passes. So then I guess the quarterback must have just thought, if it's tipped, we're going to catch it because that's how it's been working. Unfortunately, didn't count on Zach McClay. And for the 5th time tonight, Creighton Prep will start on the positive side of the 50.
And the birdcage theme tonight is beach. And I'll tell you what, that interception looked like a little game of beach volleyball. Tipped it up in the air, and McClay really setting it for himself to make the grab. So here's Pernicke on 1st and 10.
Somebody's open.
He's going to step up, and he's drilled, and that's intercepted. So it doesn't matter whether they'll say it was a fumble or a forward pass. It winds up in the hands of Applegate, and Lincoln Southeast gets the ball right back.
Boy, he's doing everything. It looked like Pernicke had both Pierce Johnson and Thomas Lydon running, if not necessarily wide open, at the very least behind the defense a little bit. But he didn't have a clean pocket or enough time to throw it, and it results in the interception. Not really his fault, though. I mean, much like the interceptions against Westside, Pernicke's had 2 tonight, but they haven't really been on him. It's just been a little bit of unlucky circumstances and defenders in the right place at the right time, much like that interception for Zach McClay. Right place, right time off a tipped pass, but teams trading turnovers, and that's bad news for Lincoln Southeast because that's just more time off the clock without moving the ball downfield.
1:08 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 39. We'll see if Southeast can do anything with that gift from the defense. It's a toss to Max Butenbeck, and he'll pick up what looks to be 4 yards to the 43 as the clock runs under a minute remaining in the third. 2nd and 6 coming up.
The Knights might have to start going back to that hurry-up offense they were going to in the first half occasionally after big plays because at this point every second is precious. And as we tick under 45 seconds in the third quarter, they don't have a lot of those seconds left. They've just got to get down the field quickly, get some stops, get some turnovers, and then get back on the field. But that's not been happening for them tonight.
So 2nd and 6, shotgun formation here for Southeast. As now they'll take a look to the sideline, and they will call a timeout. So that will leave them with 2 remaining here in the second half, as there are just 24 seconds still on the clock here in the third. Prep holding on to a 34-7 lead. And, as much as that Bellevue West Millard South game we've been bringing up again and again has been offenses back and forth, this one has really been defenses back and forth, especially as of late.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you can really call this game a defensive battle.
Yeah,
I mean,
just the last few minutes. Just the last few minutes.
Here's the thing. One team has 7. One team has 34. I don't know what you Notre Dame fans call that, but in Texas,
we don't know what it looks like yet. We're used to 32-29 at this point, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, against Toledo. Yeah. You ready to lose to Purdue this weekend?
Oh, that better not happen.
What if it does, Tyler?
Well, I can say that my team remained undefeated longer than yours. So,
congratulations.
I'll take
you beat
that.
Toledo and Florida State. Do you want a piece of candy?
2nd and 6 for Lincoln Southeast at the 43. It'll go I formation. Play fake. Reddick. Deep shot. Applegate. He makes the catch. Nice sliding grab by Applegate, as he had a big size mismatch on A.J. Jones. That's about 6 inches in height differential, and that's a big play for the Knights.
And that's the importance of having guys like Jonah Moore and Asher Anderson on the field. Neither of them were on the field for that play. Anderson's not on the field at all tonight with an injury. But you got to have experienced corners who know when to turn their heads to see when the ball is coming, because that was a big play that didn't have to happen.
Butenbach, nothing. Rodino there. Joe Brown there. And it might be a loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 at the 26, as that completion to Applegate picked up 32 yards. As that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. 34-7 Creighton Prep, as the fists go up, and Junior Jays need just 12 more minutes to seal the deal on a statement victory. When we looked at that top 10, you know about Bellevue West, you know about Millard South, you know about Westside, and you know about these Knights, but beyond that, it's really anybody's game at the 5 through 10. Creighton Prep can definitely make a big jump with this one.
And, I mean, when you consider things, you could argue that it's as far back as 3 through 10, because Westside didn't look great against Prep. They've bounced back since then, of course, but
barely beat Papio too.
Yeah, they haven't looked like world beaters by any means, especially not when compared to Bell West and Millard South. Obviously, Bell West came a little too close for comfort to losing to these Junior Jays just last week. And then, as we're seeing with this game, the number 9 team is better than the current number 4 team, so there could be a lot of chaos to come in this season. The top 2 are probably pretty secure for the rest of it, but after that, anybody's guess. Like, this Prep team could end up the 3 seed by the time playoffs roll around.
Who knows if they keep rolling the way they are, especially with that run game and that run defense. Who knows who they can stand up to? We saw it last week, nearly beating Bell West. So, 2nd down coming up for Lincoln Southeast. They'll have 11 yards on the sticks after the tackle for loss on Butenbach.
They've been driving, though. And
At
this point, I mean, a field goal wouldn't be that bad, because that'd cut the deficit to 24, and then it's still 3 touchdowns, because it's 3 touchdowns at this point, whether or not you score a touchdown or a field goal. But at least a field goal makes sure you get points on the board.
Pistol formation, play fake, bubble screen. Nice catch made by Barrett, and he breaks out of 1 tackle, but he's still going to lose yardage, as Rodino got in there along with Palmisano and Kirkwood to finish him off. Another loss. Southeast going the wrong way. It'll be 3rd and 13.
That Prep defense just continues to go for the ball. A lot of speedy guys, a lot of smart guys, and they're just going right for the ball. Those bubble screens for Lincoln Southeast, they were working a little bit in the first half, but now that Prep's ready for them, they're not working at all.
So 3rd and long from the 28-yard line for the Knights. They've only found the end zone once tonight on a 10-yard touchdown pass from Willem Reddick to Jake Applegate. And that was right before halftime. Shotgun formation. Here's Reddick. Pressure coming. Floats it up down the field. It's tipped and incomplete. Boy, Applegate nearly had another one, but Rodino's deflection just enough to force the incompletion.
You can see the defensive backs of Prep have really come along well this season. John Pargo, Sam Rodino, Kyle Munn, A.J. Jones, Jonah Moore, Asher Anderson. A lot of great talent in that defensive backfield. And considering how good they are, it kind of says a lot about the rest of this Prep defense that they might be the weakest part of it.
That's Pretty interesting. Those two safeties, Rodino and Palmazzano, they're very experienced. Saw a lot of playing time last year. They're great at coming down, stopping the run, and as you saw there, great in the pass defense as well. Here's 4th and 13 for the Knights.
Here comes Sledge.
Reddick is in trouble. He's going down. And it was Mick Tabor, the nose guard, making the play. He's strutting off the field, and Prep takes over.
Oh, he is happy as a clam right now. Came sprinting off the field, almost faster to the bench than he was to the quarterback there. But shout out to Sam Sledge for that play, too. I know they don't normally give assists for sacks, but you can see here on the replay that he's going to come basically right up the middle, forcing Reddick to scramble up, and then he does, but by the time he manages to break free, Mick Tabor's right on his back.
So Prep takes over 1st and 10 from the 30. We'll see who the running back of choice is. You could really just spin a wheel at this point if you're Prep with how well Egan, Brown, and Stessman have all done tonight. They're going to take a timeout.
What if it was Pierce Johnson? I mean, he's got a rushing touchdown too. It might as well be him.
Yeah, John Pargo was the running back when Prep blew out Papio 30-3. They brought him in for some carries late in the 4th quarter. So we'll see if we're in that territory yet for the Junior Jays.
Well, if we're not, we're pretty close. There's a 27-point lead with 11 minutes to go. And the defense has now had 2 stops inside their own 30. So
the starters will continue to roll. It's going to be Stessman, the running back. George Egan joins him in the backfield. 11:02 remaining in the 4th quarter. This Prep will have 1st and 10 starting at their own 30.
And there is Pierce Johnson. He's on the field. And he's talking with Pernicky right now. Looks like he might be replacing Trey Olden because Thomas Lydon's still in. And you've got that 3-man backfield. You see a lot of 3- and 4-man backfields for Prep. This one, Egan, Pernicky, and Stessman.
Stessman, straight ahead, jumps to the right, and is driven down to the 32. Gain of 2 yards on the play, and that makes it 2nd and 8. Prep has scored all 5 touchdowns tonight on the ground, and they've come from 4 different sources. Pierce Johnson, George Egan, Shamar Brown has 2, and Jack Stessman has 1 as well. So that'll bring up 2nd and 8 from the 32. 10:35 left in the 4th.
I know some people might be expecting me to say something about that 5 touchdown stat, but really I've been saying it since the 1st quarter, like, oh boy, Prep's running is good, and there's only so many times you can say it before it gets a little stale.
Play fake, Pernicky's pass is on the money, and Kirkwood makes the catch at the 44.
Good throw and catch there. Kirkwood played a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense tonight, and Pernicky really good on those rollout passes. We've seen a lot of those over the past 3-4 years. That's where Prep loves to go with their quarterbacks, especially guys who are as mobile as Pernicky is. And he's able to move to his right and find the open Kirkwood. Prep continues moving the ball.
Yep, 12-yard catch for Kirkwood. That his 4th reception of the season puts him at 50 receiving yards this year.
I formation look again here. What do you think, a run or a run?
How about a toss? Stessman, left side. Goes out, in, out again, and back in, and he'll pick up about 4 yards. So the patience of these Creighton Prep running backs has certainly taken a step forward tonight. Both Stessman and Brown have done a really nice job dancing around in the backfield, waiting for those holes to develop, and as a result, just about every run tonight has been positive.
I mean, it's really easy to be patient when the offensive line's been as good as they had. Like I jokingly said in the 1st quarter that they opened up a hole big enough for you to run through. Now I don't think that was hyperbole at this point. I genuinely think that you could probably get 7 or 8 yard run at this point with how good the offensive line has been.
I formation, 2nd and 6. Here is Stessman showing a little bit of that power, pushing the pile across midfield to the 47. So Prep will have it 3rd and 1 as they're now into Lincoln Southeast territory at the 47-yard line. 9 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Looks like Prep will have Christian Lanfear on the field. We'll see what kind of position they put him at. Looks like he's going to line up out wide. 31 in blue at the bottom of the screen. And then Ed Hubner is the other wide receiver. So Prep getting some other bench receivers, some opportunities tonight. Here's 3rd and 1. Carnegie changes the play. And now we'll hand it off to Stessman.
First down.
Another
and
first
more.
down as he takes it to the 44. A gain of 3 on the play, and Creighton Prep continues to grind out first downs. Stessman with 3 more yards to his total.
Yeah, Incredible how consistent Stessman has been tonight. He hasn't had a lot of big broken runs the same as Marty Brown has, but almost every play it's 3-4 yards. Boom, 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 and 3 or 4 yards a carry will get you the first down every single time.
High formation, this time George Egan, and he's strung out on the perimeter. That's not a great matchup for him. He's going to lose a yard, so that'll make it 2nd and 11 from the 45. Rare sighting of a tackle for loss for Lincoln Southeast tonight as they are able to get to Prep in the backfield that time. 7:50 left in the 4th.
You know what I kind of want to see?
What's that?
I want to see this team run the triple option with Stessman, Marty Brown, and Egan. I want to see that at some point this season.
Would be interesting. They certainly have the weaponry to pull that kind of thing off.
Oh, they absolutely do.
3 receivers at this time. A.J. Jones is in the slot. Here's Stessman through the hole. Jack Stessman inside the 25. What a run.
Did you see the little move he made with the ball? Looked like
Yeah,
he brought it
how
up
about
and over a defender as he was running. And just when I'm talking about Jack Stessman doesn't break off any big runs, he decides to say, "You don't know what the heck you're talking about, Mr. Color Commentator. I'll show you." And he's showing the Lincoln Southeast defense as well. Just continued ground and pound for Prep, and Lincoln Southeast has been basically helpless against it all night.
Stess is more. 22 yards on that carry for Creighton Prep. As Pernicke will audible here out of the shotgun. 7 minutes left in the 4th.
And it's even worse for Lincoln Southeast because Prep still has 3 talented receivers out wide.
Stessman again. Shades of the second half of last season. It's just Stessman here on this drive, and the last one too, as he picks up about 5 yards there to set up 2nd and 5 at the 18.
I mean, it might as well be him. Like, as a football team, you keep working if something's working until the defense figures out how to stop it. The run game has been working very well. There's no reason for them to go away from it because it's at least 4 yards almost every single time.
High formation again. As they're going to toss to Stessman. And he gets solid yardage again. When his vision is on point, the blocks are opening up. Offensive line doing a great job. He's near another first down at the 15 or 14-yard line. They're going to leave him about half a yard short, so 3rd and inches here for Creighton Prep, 6 minutes to go.
Well, what do you think? Option A is going to be a run up the middle. Option B is a run up the middle. Option C is a toss. What do you think?
Well, we'll find out. They've got Colin Holbert in the game now at fullback, so we'll see if he gets a touch. Haven't seen a ton of him tonight with George Egan being so busy. It is going to be Stessman, though, so options A and B were the correct answer for those playing along at home, and that's a gain of 2 yards as the pile keeps going.
No, it's not.
What in
It's
the
a
world?
touchdown.
Stessman got through that, and it's a touchdown. What? I think, Brendan, I think this is a situation where you can repeat that line you had in the Millard West game last year. What's that?
Oh, come on now. What is happening? I mean,
what a run by Stessman, his 2nd of the night, and it's 40-7.
like, did Southeast accidentally bring their JV team or something? I mean, this is incredible. They're just unable to stop anything, and even when it looks like they do, they don't. Because you talked about the vision of Jack Stessman. Well, how about that for vision? Sees a hole that literally is not there. Somehow breaks out of a pile of about 15 guys and scores. It's incredible.
Ford Hamilton's extra point is
Good
good
grief.
once again. It's 41-7. Jack Stessman, a magician, as we'll watch this touchdown run again.
I mean, where did he come from? Where is he? It looks like he breaks out of the left side, but I can't tell because there's just a mass of humanity in there, and somehow he gets out of it.
Well, I tell you what, Prep has the pep rally coming up in a couple of weeks right before homecoming against North Platte. I think one of the events they should hold is have Jack Stessman perform a magic trick because he certainly just did it right there. That was unbelievable. So Prep goes up by 34 now with 5:25 to go in the 4th. So the running game just continues to roll. 6 touchdowns now, all on the ground.
I mean, can't stop, won't stop, I guess is the mentality. The Texas Longhorns football team this year under new coach Steve Sarkisian has the mentality all gas, no brakes, basically just keep going and going and going as far and as fast as you can. I think that's been the mentality for Prep here tonight, but they haven't really had to put the ball in the air because they've never really been put in a situation where they would have had to. It's just continued first downs. It hasn't been all gas, no brakes, but it certainly hasn't been all pass, no brakes either.
Fenton's kick with that breeze behind him is going to go through the back of the end zone, another touchback. So 2 touchdowns for Stessman, 2 for Brown, 1 for Egan, 1 for Johnson.
Should we start getting some
Prep.
linebackers in?
I mean, I don't know. Prep can probably just pull out a random number generator and run the ball with whatever number they get. It's been unbelievable, the widespread success they've had tonight against the stout defense.
Yeah, basically just look down the roster. Number 94, you want to come in at running back? Coach, I'm a kicker. I'm Luke Fenton. Oh, you want to go in? I mean, they probably can't stop you.
So it's going to be 1st and 10, Lincoln Southeast at their own 20.
And they're back to the I formation. I mean, at this point, they've conceded the game, and they're just trying to make sure that they can figure out something.
Rollout pass. There's an opening, and that's the first catch of the night for 35, or make that 36 for the Knights. Max McClatchy, the fullback. So it's going to get a first down. 5:17 to go here in the 4th. 14 yards on the play.
It's interesting that they didn't involve McClatchy more in the first half, or at the very least when the game was still competitive, because when you've got an I formation and all your fullback does is block, it really just gives Prep an extra defender to use on either the pass rush or the pass coverage because they know that the fullback's not going to go out. They should probably work on using him more in the next couple of games.
Here's a toss. Butenbach sidesteps a couple, and then it gets ankle tackled at the 41. Give him, or make that the 36. Give him 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Well, it just continues for Butenbach. He's had some solid moves tonight, much like the Prep running backs have, but the issue is the Prep defense is so quick to the ball that by the time he finishes juking one defender, there's another guy right there to bring him to the ground.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 36. 4:20 left here in the 4th. As is going to be a throw to the outside. Applegate.
Oh, boy.
Him just rumbling through Riley Mahoney and crossing midfield with another first down. So Applegate has had himself a very nice night, all things considered. The star tight end for Lincoln Southeast.
He and Will Barrett both. They've gone away from Barrett quite a bit in the second half. I'm not sure if he's got a target yet this half. But Jake Applegate has definitely proven that he can deal with either linebackers or cornerbacks in pass coverage. And at this point, for the quarterback, Willem Reddick, it's probably just look for number 9 first, and then if he's not open, find somebody else.
Toss it left. That was Owen Baxter out of the backfield picking up 2 yards. So that'll make it 2nd and 8 from the 47. 3:40 remaining now in the 4th quarter. And look ahead to next week. Creighton Prep will go on the road Thursday night against Millard West, who's unranked. Probably won't need a 26-point comeback this year as the Wildcats are in a heavy rebuild. Lincoln Southeast comes back home to play Lincoln East, who's just outside of the top 10. Here's a play fake and a throw. Catch is made. There's McClatchy again, taking on a defender and getting the first down at the 38. So the Southeast passing game doing some good work moving down the field here late in the 4th quarter. 3:10 remaining.
You know who else is moving down the field?
Well, considering they've been doing it for the last 2 hours repeatedly, Bellevue West and Millard South.
Well, actually, not really. The score is still 28-21, Millard South.
Wow.
They have the ball on the Bellevue West 34 right now after an interception of Luke Johansson.
Ooh.
They did have a nice drive, but then Gage Stenger fumbled the ball on the 10. But offense has slowed down a bit.
Watch out from the blind side. That was Joe Brown burying Reddick as he was able to actually complete the pass to Will Barrett. Yep, making a catch at the 30 for a gain of 8 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 2. 2:35 left in the 4th. As Lincoln Southeast will bring in a couple new wide receivers, tight ends. Looks like they've got Manny Applegate in the game at wide receiver, so they'll go with a 4-receiver set on 2nd and 2.
Might as well see what Willem Reddick can do passing the ball.
Reddick fires and looked like Jake Applegate might not have been ready for it as the pass was low and outside and complete. 3rd and 2 coming up.
Good coverage there, too, by number 32. I think that's Andrew Jopa in at defensive back. he came up and made a nice play. So even if that pass was on the money, it might not have worked that well because Jopa was right there.
So 3rd and 2 from the 30, 2:10 left. Be another 4-receiver set, basically a copy and paste of the last formation here for Lincoln Southeast. This time they'll run out of it, and they'll get the first down. There's Owen Baxter again for 4 more yards. And 1st and 10 at the 26.
Well, I'll give Lincoln Southeast this. They haven't had a lot of great drives so far this game, but when they do, it's been pretty consistent. They haven't been like the Bell West Millard South game where it's all just big plays down the field, getting down the field in 1 or 2 plays. They're moving the ball pretty solidly against, even though it's mostly backup, still a pretty stout prep defense. So give them credit for that.
Shotgun formation again. Here's Reddick moving to his left, being chased. Fires at the 30. It's low.
Looked like it was incomplete.
Oh, I think it was caught, actually.
Oh,
They're going to
really?
say it was. Scooped off the ground by Barrett at the 14. He's a little slow to get up, but it is a first down and a move into the red zone for Southeast. We've got 1:37 now on the clock in the 4th quarter.
Reddick's definitely done a good job. He hasn't thrown any interceptions. He did have the fumble after that strip sack, but he's had a pretty solid game. Just a lot of the time hasn't had enough time to throw the ball and look downfield, and that's really been the key, is the prep defensive line living in that backfield.
3 receivers to the near side. Now they'll shift one over. That's number 26, Sam Gandara, as there's a flag down on this one.
How about the tackle there from Amar Brown?
Yeah, Baxter takes it to the 17. There's a flag
And
on
it
that
looks like
tackle for loss.
Looks like Reddick was down there for a second, too. He's still crouching down. Looks like he's in pain.
Got a lot to sort
Yeah,
out
must
on
have
this
gotten
one.
hit after the play.
Got a lot to sort out on this one, as the officials will converge at the 25-yard line. Continue to talk it over. There's 1:10 on the clock here in the 4th quarter. As finally we'll get the ruling. And it was an illegal shift. It's against Lincoln Southeast, and there's also a roughing the passer against Prep.
Yep.
Those penalties will offset, and it looks like it's going to be another 1st and 10. So you were right. Reddick did get hit, and apparently illegally well after the play. So 1st and 10 at the 14 now.
I mean, he's been getting hit all night when they've tried to run those long style pass plays. The defensive line still getting into that backfield almost with no resistance.
So they'll be in the shotgun again with a 3-receiver set. They've got Jake Applegate lined up at the top of the screen.
And they're going to probably look for – no, they're not.
They'll go the other way. It's low and nearly intercepted by Nick Keeney. So it'll be 2nd and 10 at the 14. Not sure if the pass was altered at all at the line of scrimmage, but that came out well short from Reddick. It actually looks like Southeast might have a backup in the game now with Reddick out.
Oh, yeah, that looks like it's
Maddox Cummings.
Yeah, number 6, I think that is Maddox Cummings, yeah.
So Reddick taking that shot, a little shaken up. Probably no reason to have him continue in a game as lopsided as this.
He had a pretty good night, though. It's not at all his fault that they only put up 7.
So here's Cummings stepping up in the pocket, trying to make a move. He runs head on into a prep defender at the 13-yard line and gets down to the 12, so a gain of 2.
Who was that? It looks like, I want to say that's Jack Piernicki, but that's number 40, not number 30. It looks like that's Ryan Ohl, the sophomore linebacker, coming up to make the play.
And right you are, it was Ryan Ohl. So
pretty solid hit.
Yep, 3rd and 8. Only 37 seconds on the clock. Play fake. Cummings steps up and out of the rush. Wants to run.
And there's Ryan Ohl again.
Stood up by Ohl.
That was a solid hit there. Sophomore linebacker impressing the coaches, and this is really what games like this become about when they get this late into the quarter. Under 20 seconds now is just, you know, showing the coaches what you can do, because they don't want a guy that doesn't give effort. Even though this game's well over, it's still important that they know that you really love playing this game and that you play it well.
Should be the final play of the game. Here's the pass. It's knocked away and incomplete. The clock hits 000s. It was Pargo making the play, and Creighton Prep makes a statement at home against Lincoln Southeast. 41-7 your final score as number 9 demolishes number 4, and
mean,
now Creighton Prep, they don't have to play a ranked opponent as it stands
yeah,
for the rest of the season.
This was just a dominant performance. Lincoln Southeast, to be perfectly honest, looked like Notre Dame as soon as they get into the playoff. It was just incredible how Prep did whatever they wanted on offense when they had to. They did it in the first quarter. Then they kind of